All right, Jim, thank you very much. 1-1 Seattle against undefeated Pittsburgh at 2-0 with Sam Wyche. This is Kevin Harlan. The Seattle Seahawks winning last week despite going without their starting quarterback, John Kitna.
Well, Glenn Foley did a good job for him, but John Kitna practiced all week. His right toe has a ligament damage there. He'll be able to go. Not much sympathy in the locker room when you get that. Chad Brown on the other side of the line, torn ligament in his neck, but he wants to play. A couple of years ago, he led these Steelers with 13 sacks.
Well, the story in Pittsburgh, of course, always their defense, but not necessarily this year. It's their rebuilt offense, which is grabbing the headlines.
Kevin Gilbride is the new offensive coordinator, and he is learning the players just like they're learning him. Wide open offense. They use the tight end a lot more than they have so far in the first 2 weeks. Cordell Stewart starts at quarterback. For the first time in his career, he's using an audible system. He may audible more than 5, 6, 7, 8 times today.
It's the Seattle Seahawks against the Pittsburgh Steelers next on CBS.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Pittsburgh loves football. The Seahawks are in town, roughed up early last week at Soldier Field in Chicago, then scored 2 late touchdowns through the air to take the lead, with the Bears missing a possible game-winning kick, and the Seahawks got their first win. The Steelers were in Baltimore, scoring 2 rushing touchdowns, and it too came down to a field goal, and Pittsburgh remains undefeated. The Seahawks and Steelers next. It's the home opener for the Pittsburgh Steelers in capacity-filled Three Rivers Stadium. Steelers come in at 2-0, winning at Cleveland and Baltimore. Seahawks with the win last week. Our kickoff is next. The high today here in Pittsburgh will be 82 degrees. Not a threat of rain with Sam Wyche, Kevin Harlan at Three Rivers Stadium. Todd Peterson set to kick off for the Seattle Seahawks, and deep back Troy Edwards and Will Blackwell, and we are underway. Blackwell from the 5. And dodging a Seahawk or 2, weaves his way up to the 23-yard line, where he is brought down by Willie Williams. The quarterback is Cordell Stewart, an ineffective 98, Sam, after a brilliant 97 for the Steelers.
He really likes the Kevin Gilbride offense. It gives him a chance under center to be an audible quarterback, a guy that can change the play at the line of scrimmage, get him out of bad plays. He's comfortable already, and we're only in week 3.
And he's got a new guy calling the plays on the sideline, Kevin Gilbride, who was let go by San Diego and now joins Bill Cowher.
Good coach. This is a solid offensive football coach.
From the 22-yard line, 1st and 10, empty backfield. That's Bettis in motion. And Stewart right to work. Slings a pass, which is incomplete at the 31. Zeroing in on wide receiver Courtney Hawkins. Now the Pittsburgh offense today, the only change is the right tackle. That's Anthony Brown taking the place of the injured Chris Conrad. Otherwise, Gandy, Faneca, Dawson, the great center, and Brendan Stye, the right guard. Jerome Bettis and blocking back John Whitman, Courtney Hawkins, and Hines Ward, the wide receivers. Mark Bruner is the tight end. He played at the University of Washington. Pittsburgh has scored more the first 2 weeks this year than the last 5 games of last year in a run by Bettis, and he has clobbered Chad Brown along with Cortez Kennedy. Make the tackle at the 21. The Seattle defense, they used a little 3-4 last week, but they begin with the 4-3. Sinclair, Adams, Kennedy, and Phillip Daniels. Linebackers Smith, Simmons, and Chad Brown is back after that scare week 1 against Detroit. Secondary Springs and Williams, and the free safeties will consist of Jay Bellamy and Darrell Williams.
3-man line on the rush.
Now a 3rd and 10 from the 21. Blackwell's in motion. Here comes Canny, who hits Stewart. The pass deflected, intercepted by Merton Hanks. He's got an escort, and he's in for the Seattle touchdown. And just like that, the Seahawks on top of Pittsburgh.
As much as anything, it's Chris Canty coming from the right side. He's going to give quick pressure right there. You see, just as he lets the ball go, thrown a little bit behind. Merton Hanks with the clean. Now, Merton Hanks thinks it's a walk-in. He's got a little bit of real estate to cover right there, but he moseys on in for a quick 7 points for the Seattle defense.
Last year, the defense of Seattle and the special teams combined to score an NFL record 13 return touchdowns. The extra point good by Peterson. That is the second interception by the Seattle secondary returned for a touchdown this year. Quickly 7-0 Seattle. Sam Wyche, the Seahawks pick off their second pass of the year and return it for a touchdown.
Well, you see Kevin Gilbride talking to Cordell Stewart. The ball was just thrown a little bit behind the receiver. He couldn't get his hands back. It was a shallow cross, so he's running really parallel with the line of scrimmage. The ball pops straight up to Hanks. Pressure from Chris Canty was a big factor.
Here's the ensuing kickoff. Will Blackwell from the 5-yard line and whacked by Kerry Joseph at about the 23-yard line. Blackwell had a couple of good returns last week for the Steelers.
These two coaches have had similar success over the years. You can see their win-loss records almost identical. Both of them have wins in a Super Bowl. Mike Holmgren, of course, has been there 3 times. 2 quality coaches and 2 quality coaching staffs working with them.
So after throwing his first interception in 68 passes, Stewart will be out there from his own 23 with the 1st and 10. And Jerome Bettis, a block from Whitman, and penetrating through beautifully on the play was Michael Sinclair. He led the NFL in sacks a season ago.
Michael Sinclair is really the leader. When Chad Brown was out last week, he was the guy that had to be the on-field spiritual leader of this ball club. He is pure hustle too. He does not even begin to let up until he hears the whistle. He doesn't anticipate the end of the play.
Most sacks in the NFL, in fact, since 1996. 2nd down, 11 from the 23. Good time for Stewart. Great catch by wide receiver Hines Ward. Curling in on Jay Bellamy. And is close to a Pittsburgh 1st down near the 33.
And a very basic play. You're going to see the tight end is going to be into the flat to the left. And you'll see coming from the left with Willie Williams trying to make the coverage on Hines Ward. Just a slant play. First guy really to get to him is Jay Bellamy, who is in a 2-deep safety look. There's a natural void inside the cornerback, who was Willie Williams in that case, when you get that slant pattern perfect against that cover 2-deep zone.
Hines Ward, 2nd season out of Georgia, and you can see he's just that close to the 1st down. Phil Luckett is our referee today here in Pittsburgh.
You know, one thing, just watching Cordell Stewart deliver that last pass, it's a 3-step drop. You make a decision. He had a tight end on either side, a wide receiver on either side. He just picks a side, left or right, but deliver the ball right into the body of the inside receiver, which he did.
We talked to Stewart yesterday. What do you think of him?
Well, I feel more confidence listening to him talk than I have in his entire career. Of course, we've kind of watched him grow up a little bit. He really likes Kevin Gilbride personally. Not that he didn't like Ray Sherman a year ago, but he likes his offense.
3rd and inches, a quarterback sneak, and it looked as though Stewart was stood straight right up and not backwards.
I tell you, this is the mark of the official, and the way it looks from where we are, that he did not get any movement at all. Very close.
He may have lost some room.
Let's see if we can tell. Watch the quarterback. Now he hesitates just an instant, which is what you should do on a quarterback sneak. Let the offensive line get the initial movement and then get underneath them and get in underneath. If you can't be seen under there, usually they'll give it to you. But he went up over the top. They stood him straight up. I think he lost 1 1/4 inches, maybe 1 3/8 inches.
That's good sight by you there, Sam. They're going to have to punt on 4th down.
Yeah, Bill Cowher, you know, that quarterback sneak is almost always good for a foot, for 2 feet. But when you pinch your defensive tackles, and it's Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams, that's about 650 pounds worth of beef in there. Quarterback sneak's not as good.
Josh Miller, who was great a season ago and is off to another good start this season for the Steelers, back to punt. And rookie Charlie Rogers is back at about the 24. Seattle, a 5th-round pick out of Georgia Tech. There is a slight breeze inside the stadium this afternoon. High kick. He jacks it up. Driving Rodgers back into the sun. Back to the 6, and he'll return it. Breaking one tackle up the sideline. The kicker is there. Does he get by Miller? He does. He is in a foot race with Lance Brown. He's going to go in for a touchdown. Incredible. A 94-yard return. Seattle is up 13-0. That is the first return in the NFL this year, either punt return or kickoff return for a touchdown.
And we see it right here. The first miss right there is the one that got him started. Now up the sideline, the only guy left is the punter. Of course, he's not going to be in a position many times to make a saving tackle. This is a case of a punt being too good. It was so deep that the coverage people couldn't get down there to form their lanes, and Charlie Rodgers was underway before they were in position to box him in.
All week long, Seattle worked on special teams, which has truly been the sorriest part of their game. The extra point by Peterson and the lack of tackle by the punter, Josh Miller. And there goes Rodgers. A shocker in Pittsburgh. It is sparkling Sunday here in Steelerland, but for Pittsburgh, trailing early 14-0 to Seattle. That punt return by the rookie Rodgers, Sam, the longest in the history of the franchise.
And the first one ever brought back against Josh Miller, the punter.
Will Blackwell will return this one. Breaks the tackle from Canny, being chased outside and driven out of bounds by starter Sean Springs. Blackwell, we told you before, had returns of 32 and 37 yards last week in Baltimore. The 37-yard return against the Ravens set up the game-winning kick. We haven't even seen the Seattle offense yet, and they lead it 14-0.
Well, John Kitna has not made in, missed last week. But, you know, we were talking before the ballgame. Both of these teams have excellent return people. They have had trouble, though, in their coverage against punt and kickoff returns, and it's showing up already in the first quarter.
Good look at John Kitna. Timeout taken by Seattle. They'll burn their first timeout of this first half. Mike Holmgren working hard on special teams this week in practice. It's already paid off. The Steelers down by 2 touchdowns.
And the kickers don't have the easiest job in football. This is Todd Peterson after the kickoff. That's Orpheus Roy coming in trying. He's making a block on him. Roy weighs about 290 pounds against that 177-pound kicker. Steelers' first 2 possessions, 6 plays, only 9 yards, and of course the 1 turnover for a touchdown by Merton Hanks. The interception directly in the end zone.
So they'll start for a 3rd time, this time at their 27-yard line. He's checking off.
Looks like he sees blitz. They're faking it.
Stewart right to work, looks for his second option. Throws a pass which is caught by the rookie wide receiver Troy Edwards, last year's premier college receiver. And a 16, the tackle made by Willie Williams.
We're seeing really 2 good defensive units. This time Seattle was faking the blitz. He audible to an inside move. Troy Edwards, their rookie, comes from the right of our screen as we look at it here from his left lineup back into the middle. And basically the hole is left because it's a zone defense. But he gets up a little bit gimpy there. Looks like the right ankle, right knee coming down hard on that AstroTurf. He got hit pretty hard in the middle. James Logan delivering one of the I'll stop you at right quick blows. Those sudden stops are the ones that get you. It's not so much the fall.
After the 16-yard pickup by the rookie wide receiver Edwards, they're out to the 43-yard line with a 1st and 10. Stewart again to the end. Bettis is open in the middle. The ball knocked away. It's loose. It's a live ball. Picked up by Anthony Simmons at the 25. The 2nd Pittsburgh turnover. And now they say the Steelers grabbed it away. And jumping on it, Jerome Bettis. He must have won the tussle.
He did, because he didn't have it initially, and it was a battle. Now watch, he's going to come back. He's just going to get straight pass rush coming from the middle. This is not a blitz situation, just normal rush. As he turns to get ready, let's watch what happens. There's the backside of it. That's Cortez Kennedy getting his hand on it. Now Cortez is going for it. And the guy that really should have had it, Anthony Simmons, just gets it stolen away right at the end by Jerome Bettis.
Second down and 27 from the 26. Quarterback draw for Stewart. And is gobbled up by Darren Smith, the linebacker. And the boos already begin to cascade down from the top. Tuesday on CBS, it's an all-new episode of Jag. Catch David James Elliott and Catherine Bell in America's #1 action drama. Tuesday on CBS, America's most watched network.
Yeah, but I don't know if you remember, but what do you think I like about that show more than anything else? You remember from last year?
Yeah, Catherine Bell.
That's it. That and the action, baby.
Yeah.
Well, lots of action.
Although not at the same time.
Okay, back to football.
It's 3rd and 24 from the 30-yard line. Big throw wide open, Courtney Hawkins. And he is down at the 40. He had to get down to the 47. Picks up 11 yards. Jay Bellamy makes the tackle. And again, we're going to see Pittsburgh punt the ball.
Now, Courtney Hawkins, look right here. You see Hanks. He blitzes. When he blitzes, there's an absolute void. Nothing there, but just a straight throwing lane. Anytime a quarterback sees somebody blitz, he's coached to throw in the direction of the blitz because there's not going to be anybody between you and the receiver.
Josh Miller to punt. And that return before by Rodgers, the first time Miller has ever had a punt return for a touchdown. This off the side of his foot. And landing inside the 20. And Miller does a pretty good job as it ricochets out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
I think he was trying to kick it out of bounds anyway.
47-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen and by the Intel Pentium 3 processor.
And we finally, of course, the famous statue outside Three Rivers Stadium right here. Here's John Kitna warming up before the game. This is like bringing in a reliever with a 10-run lead. The difference, of course, you're bringing him in the first inning. Plenty of time left.
And he's changing the play from the 13-yard line. A good block by Jones going deep. He's got Pritchard. There he goes by the 50. Breaks a tackle of Shields and finally brought down by Carlos Emmons. What a way to begin for John Kitna. A gain of 51 yards.
Now, here's Pritchard. Just going to go down on the post pattern. He's 90%. 90%. What if he was 100%? I believe he'd have left everybody. He's paired up going against Dwayne Washington, one of the best cornerbacks in football. Did not have that inside help. Perfect throw down the middle for Kitna.
On the 46, 1st and 10. Great time again for Kitna. Throws a pass, which is dropped by fullback Reggie Brown. Kitna was undrafted out of Central Washington. He's from Tacoma. And he's a guy who has been a great success story so far.
Celebrated his 27th birthday this week. This is a guy that was Dennis Erickson finding. He found his son played with him in college. Went to watch his son play, saw Kitna, brought him to Seattle, and Mike Holman's benefiting from him.
36, 2nd down and 10. Here comes Ricky Waters with no gain on the play. He needs 7 yards to reach 8,000 for his career. Seattle offense. Here's a line that's given up the most sacks in the AFC. Jones, Kendall, Glover, Brian Habib, and Grant Williams' his second start at the right tackle. Waters and Brown, the running backs. Pritchard and Derek Mays, the wide receivers. The tight end is Christian Fourier. It's 3rd and long 9 from the 35. Blitz is on. Kitna outside. He's got Derek Mays with a catch to the 27-yard line. Whacked out of bounds on the play by Chad Scott. Gain of 8. Mays comes via trade with Green Bay. Number 2 defense in the NFL. Steed Harrison, Kevin Henry, and Orpheus Roy. Linebackers, and they're good ones. Gilden, Kirkland, Holmes, and Carlos Emmons. In the secondary, Scott, Shields, Davis, and Washington. We show you 12 players. They revolve around a 34 and a 43. And they use 4 and 3 defensive linemen interchangeably. It's 4th and 1 and a timeout. The second called in the first half by Seattle is burned by quarterback John Kitna. 1 timeout left for the Seahawks, but they lead it 14-0. The highest paid coach in the NFL has his team off to a nice start here in Pittsburgh.
And he hadn't been used to that here. The first 2 weeks, they were very slow in the first half. Their second halves were their recovery times. But they have come out blazing here, and they've changed their mind. They're going to go for the field goal rather than the first down on 4th and 1.
45-yard try by Peterson. He has missed in his only attempt this year from 32 yards away. And this kick has the distance, and Peterson hits it. That is the first field goal of the season for Seattle. And they annex their lead 17-0 over Pittsburgh. 23-yard touchdown interception by Merton Hanks. A 94-yard punt return touchdown by rookie Charlie Rogers. Moments ago, a 45-yard field goal by Peterson, and it is 17-0 Seattle. Well, we talked earlier how last year this team set a record with defensive and special team combined scores, 13 return touchdowns, and already we've seen 2 here. 3 for the season for the Seahawks, and Pete Rodriguez has his special teams back in gear.
Both teams noted for their defense. I thought coming in, you and I talking, that this would be one of those defensive battles, but special teams and defense have turned it into an offensive looking game.
Blackwell from the 5 for the Steelers, and picking and poking his way up to the 21-yard line.
You know, I don't have all the answers right here, but I'm going to guess at a couple of things. Instant replay is going to get some further review. It needs a little tweaking, so to speak. Houston is going to be that 30-second franchise. I think the Los Angeles area has spent too much time talking about it. One rookie head coach won't make it this year. The only reason I say that is there's so many of them. And Miami and Tampa Bay, that's my pick in the Super Bowl. And I see you nodding like you know I've got all the answers.
I don't know about that NFC team. I like Miami, though.
It could be those teams. Well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of going to compete this year.
There's a flag. Looked like Sam Adams may have jumped a bit early, and they stopped that play in mid-motion.
They stopped it because he was in a position to get to the quarterback. They'll protect the quarterback in any situation like that.
Referee Phil Luckett.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
And the reason that wasn't called against the offense is they didn't move. The defensive player moved on his own. The quarterback drew him off sides. The quarterback will throw his snap count up an octave and try to draw it.
So now with the penalty, 1st and 5.
A lot easier than those normal situations of 1st and 10. A lot more options here.
Hawkins in motion. On play handoff to Richard Huntley. A fumbling problem a season ago, and Chad Brown makes a great open field tackle. Let's check in with Jim Nance in New York.
All right, the Broncos were down 7 early on a Mike Allstat 28-yard run, but Brian Griese and the Broncos are back. Ed McCaffrey in the end zone, and that game now 7-7 first quarter in Tampa. Back to you.
Thank you, Jim. No defending Super Bowl champion has started a season 0-3 in a non-strike year. Denver comes in 0-2.
They'll have their hands full down in Tampa, though. Defense strong, offense of Denver struggling.
2nd and 5, play action by Stewart. Swings a pass for a first down, caught by receiver Courtney Hawkins. Coming off a career year with 66 catches last season, and on the play picks up 8 for a first down.
This is the clutch play right here. This kind of throws real easy for a quarterback because he and the wide receiver are reading the same thing. Courtney Hawkins just goes down about 12 yards and finds the open hole and stops.
You had him in Tampa.
He was the first draft pick I ever made in 2nd round. We didn't have a first rounder that year.
The 34, 1st and 10. Jerome Bettis coming off a 46-yard performance last week in Baltimore, and also coming off some knee surgery in early August. Riddick Parker makes the stop. He is not 100%, speaking of Bettis.
No, he's not, but I tell you what, he is such a load, and the fact that they've got Richard Huntley playing well, he can spell back and forth and not wear himself down. On that last play, too, though, Chad Brown, who played, of course, many years here in Pittsburgh, big factor on it. They're going to have to keep track of Chad Brown. The problem is they've got Michael Sinclair on the other side. They can't slide the line one way or the other.
36, 2nd down and 8. There's a good bulldozing run by Jerome Bettis. Tackled by Chad Brown, a gain of 10.
Look at the time of possession so far in this ball game. Now that is very deceiving because all of the Seahawks scoring has come off of punt returns, interceptions by Merton Hanks. He ran it into the end zone, and of course the field goal. Time of possession usually indicates who's controlling the football game.
What does this deficit for Pittsburgh do to their offensive game plan?
But nothing right now. Do exactly what they're doing. You can see they're staying with it. Nice mix of run and pass. There's plenty of football time left. You don't want to force your players to thinking you got to get back into it too quick.
On 1st and 10 for the 46, somebody from Seattle is offsides. That ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. Riddick Parker was there. He may have gotten a hand on it, but the flag has been thrown and the play was stopped.
You know, Cordell Stewart is audibling for the first time this year. He's also using that snap count better than I've ever seen him. He is drawing the defense offside.
What do you mean?
He's changing the pace of the snap count.
Offside, defense, number 70, 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Michael Sinclair can't make it to the stadium. You can still get all your favorite team gear, caps, jerseys, and more. Plus, the shipping is free. Click on to the NFL at cbs.sportsline.com.
One of the problems of the the internet purchases was that freight shipping free this time, huh?
Yeah.
I'm buying your Christmas gift right there, baby.
I knew that was coming. 1st and 5 from midfield.
You don't have a pen and pencil set, do you?
Stewart knocked away. Great defensive play by linebacker Anthony Simmons, going for tight end Mark Bruner.
Anthony Simmons is a linebacker. That is a pass that was thrown about 20 yards down the field, and the linebacker, Anthony Simmons, is back there covering it. He's playing with a little bit of a bruised knee himself. He didn't practice all of the week full speed with the Seahawks. That was not an audible, by the way. That was just a zone pass, and Mark Bruner, a guy who wants the ball more. He hasn't got one so far. He's only got a couple of them this year. Wants that ball.
2nd and 5 on the 50. It's Bettis again trying to go up the middle. He was in the backfield at one time at Notre Dame with Ricky Watters, who plays for Seattle.
Those guys, when they play against each other, believe me, they don't necessarily call and write letters, but they are sure before the ball game talking about the good old days and how much this game means to each of them. Players that have played together before follow each other, even if they're not on the same team.
There's Waters. He's been quiet so far because the offense hasn't been out there that much for Seattle.
Ricky Watters wasn't quiet last week. Well, he was the vocal inspiration for their second half comeback in Seattle against the Chicago Bears.
3rd and 3 from the 47.
And that's left tackle Wayne Gandy. He just jumps way ahead of the snap count.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, right guard. 5-yard penalty remains, third down.
Brendan Stye is the right guard, 68.
They call it on Stye. Gandy also moved. I guess they had more movement than that, but right at the point of attack, Wayne Gandy pulled way ahead of the snap count as well as Brendan Stye. That was a quick count, and when you go on that quick count, almost you have to wait as an offensive lineman until you hear it. You cannot anticipate it because those defensive guys are making defensive calls, and you will mistake that sometimes for the snap count.
So the penalty pushes it back to the 48-yard line. 3rd down and 8 now for Cordell Stewart and the Steelers.
It's a blitz.
The block by Brown. The pass incomplete. Zeroing in on wide receiver Hines Ward. They got a punt again on 4th down.
Boy, they are not happy here. That time, Chad Smith blitzed. And watch Stewart after the throw. No rush or no pressure. This one should have been his. He's frustrated because he's been feeling pressure coming in, and he knew the blitz was coming from his backside. That time, Darren Smith and Chad Brown had a little cross action coming up from the backside of Cordell Stewart, and he really, I guess, couldn't tell how close they were.
Josh Miller will punt for Pittsburgh. Charlie Rogers is deep back at the 10-yard line. Rogers returned one earlier for 94 yards and a touchdown on the punt return. No one kicked more punts inside the 20-yard line last year than Miller. Here's another. A flag is down. As it stands now, it's at the 3. Joey Porter was downfield. 49-yard punt, but let's see what the flags are all about.
That's going to be called against Charlie Rogers. He called for the fair catch. Once you call for the fair catch, you cannot block anybody. You've got to just let it go. And if you don't call for the fair catch, you can become a blocker. He called for the fair catch, decided to let it go, and then blocked. He's a rookie out of Georgia Tech.
Fumbled week 1. And at a nice 34-yard return last week in Chicago. And he's had a 94-yard return for a TD here this afternoon.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team number 31 for blocking after a fair catch signal. The penalty is half the distance of the goal, but it's declined. They'll take the dead ball spot, which is further back. First down.
Good explanation by referee Phil Wyche.
Excellent explanation. Exactly what happened. See the fair catch. Once you wave your hand, you cannot block. Now let's watch him. He changes his mind, tries to get a hit late, obviously trying to make sure that nobody could get to that football and roll in the end zone. He really planted his feet on the 10-yard line like you're supposed to. Realized he was going back up too far and decided not to touch the ball, but he can't block.
Rogers played running back and wide receiver at Georgia Tech, and we've already seen today he's blessed with incredible speed.
And now the crowd gets to be a factor.
On the 3, Kitna first down and 10. Look out, here comes Gildon, the pass away, caught by Christian Fourier, the tight end. And a great throw by Kitna. Fourier head over heels like a ragdoll, and Kitna was drilled. They got it away for a 14-yard gain. Monday on CBS is the King of Queens' wife falling for another woman. What? Find out the shocking truth in an all-new King of Queens Monday at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. On the 18, first and 10, the pitch out to Waters, the block by Habib, and the gain to the 21-yard line, and the tackle is made by Kirkland and Nolan Harrison.
It almost guessed that on that play that it was not going to be a pass because John Kitna needed a minute to gather himself. Jason Gildon on the previous play came completely untouched. Terrific play by Kitna to get the ball away.
Gildon led the Steelers last year in sacks. Second down and 7. Gildon was a down lineman at Oklahoma State. On the 21. Good block by Jones. Pass caught. Down the middle. It's Ricky Waters on a gain of 10. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So this truly is a coming home for Ricky Waters, who played for the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple years. As you see scores at the bottom of your screen. Ricky Waters on the ground, needing just 5 yards to reach 8,000 for his career. Only 21 players in the history of the NFL have done that.
He's a football player. Now, he's misunderstood a lot with his antics, but this guy wants to win.
First and 10, Kitna right on the money, and it's caught by Sean Dawkins. Free agent signee from New Orleans, a gain of 12, and the offense of Seattle is crackling.
Well, I tell you, Pittsburgh defense is playing a lot of zone, and that gives these wide receivers in that 10 to 12-yard distance down the field a chance to work their way open and still get the quick throws off. You see Jim Haslett, he's the defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers and one of the best in the National Football League. And I'm not throwing that one out loosely either. He's good.
First and 10, Ricky Waters once again plowing his way up to the 47. Now for the day, Waters has 7 yards, and he is at 8,000 yards for his career as the first quarter comes to a close. Well, the highlight, and there are many for Seattle in the first half, the 94-yard punt return for a touchdown by rookie Charlie Rogers. At the end of the first quarter, it's Seattle 17-0. Ricky Waters has placed in NFL history secure with that run.
And he's just about 80 yards away from passing Larry Zonka 20 to become 20th all-time rusher in the NFL.
We begin the second quarter with the second down and 7 from the 46 for the Seahawks. Waters again. And running over the right side, grinding out 3. Levon Kirkland there with the stop.
Nice mix right here. The Seattle Seahawks are having a blend of the quick throw and the running game. Kitna 5 for 6 for 96 yards, and he's already hit 5 different receivers in the ball game. So they're not able to key on any one player. Pittsburgh's a solid defense, and they're trying to bring a few people out of the back. Pittsburgh's adjustment, though, in just a minute, is going to have to be more pressure.
3rd and 4. Kitna, pocket is strong, the pass is wide, and could not be reeled in by wide receiver Sean Dawkins. So the Steeler defense hold, coverage by Dwayne Washington. And we'll see our first punt today from Jeff Fiegels.
You see around the league a lot, Kevin, that offenses are designing their passing game around the quick throws so that even if somebody does break loose or is unblocked, you still get the pass away. And it really frustrates defenses because no matter how hard they work, they just can't get to the quarterback in time.
Fiegels, a couple of short kicks last week, a fumble on one of them.
Here comes the blitz. Pittsburgh's going after him.
By Fiegels is high. Great hang time. Will Blackwell will let it bounce at the 5. Takes a great Seattle bounce. Ricochets out of bounds at the 6. So one of the best in the business, Jeff Fiegels, drives Pittsburgh deep in their own zone on that 46-yarder.
And watch this. So this is Will Blackwell right now. Earlier, Charlie Rogers made the mistake of fair catch and then blocking. Blackwell there almost raises his hand like a fair catch, but then avoids blocking anybody. Charlie Rogers from Georgia Tech, a rookie with Seattle. The veteran Will Blackwell with Pittsburgh doesn't make the mistake.
Sold out Three Rivers from the 6. 1st and 10 after the great punt by Fiegels, and the handoff goes to Jerome Bettis in the bus, moving up the middle. And a 5 coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim Craig, Randy, and Jerry get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. All coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report.
Very entertaining pregame show today. I think the guys brought up a lot of points. Halftime, 12 minutes long. It's amazing how much you can get in 12-minute halves in the National Football League.
2nd down and 5, and a pass outside to Mark Bruner, who tries to lunge ahead for an extra yard. Picks up 3. Darrell Williams got him. Bruner is the all-time tight end receiving leader at the University of Washington. What a nice win they had yesterday over Colorado up in Seattle.
Those guys watch the games. I can remember when I was coaching on Saturday night, all the players would come in and report what their college team did, whether it was Furman University where I went or whether it was UCLA or Notre Dame. And everyone gave them a boo or a ray depending on how their team did. And of course, those guys that were playing against each other, they played on the same, played together now, but played different colleges, always settled up those Coca-Cola bets or whatever they were riding on. Yeah.
Huntley is in. Bettis is out. 3rd and 2 from the 15. Shotgun snap. Good time for Stewart. Now he goes down. Sacked on the play. And Philip Daniels, who has to battle migraine headaches every practice and every game, just handed out a migraine right there to Stewart.
Here he comes. Now he's going up against Wayne Gandy. Watch the matchup. There's his one-on-one. Gandy, though, losing ground fast. Cordell Stewart can't find anybody open, so a little bit of credit to the coverage down the field. Shotgun should give him plenty of view coming from our left. And that time, Philip Daniel just got up there and with one arm brought down Cordell Stewart. That's called a bull rush. Just push Wayne Gandy back into the quarterback.
2nd sack for Daniels this season. Miller gets it away. Another great high hanging punt. Rogers, the rookie, over the shoulder catch back at the 36. Finds a crease, breaking tackles. He's to midfield. That kid's exciting to watch, returning at that time on a jitterbug move of 14 yards after the 55-yard punt by Miller. Seattle still shutting out the Steelers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dodge. Do not follow, do not conform. Be different. Zima, a few degrees cooler. And by NorthernLight.com. Just what you've been looking for.
Well, we were on the Gateway River Bell earlier this morning. That's how we got to the stadium. That's on the Monongahela, one of the 3 rivers. And of course, we are at Three Rivers Stadium on a gorgeous afternoon here in Pennsylvania with Sam Wyche, Kevin Harlan. From the 49-yard line, John Kitna and Seattle up 17-0. 1st and 10. Kitna across the middle. Intercepted on the play by Travis Davis. A 4-year starter, and now they wipe it away. Overruled. One official said he caught it. The other line judge across the way wipes it away. Incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10.
Mike Pritchard now coming to the inside, anticipating the throw as Travis Davis. Whoa! From that angle, it looked like he had possession momentarily.
Would you appeal it if you were coaching?
I'd want to see upstairs another view before I do it officially, because it looked like that he had it, but he's going down to the ground. Coming now from our side, our left side. Let's see what happens. He's got it a grip. Ball goes right to the ground. Probably would not be overturned.
2nd down and 10, and a busted play. Kittner left to fend for himself. He is marooned in the backfield. Nolan Harrison devours him. Well, this is day number 58 of the Joey Galloway holdout. They have met all weekend long in Pittsburgh, but to no benefit for either side.
Well, there's been a lot of dialogue. Mike Holmgren at one point said that when he heard that Eric Metz, the agent for Galloway, said if you'll take the franchise, promise me you won't use the franchise, we'll come on in. Told us yesterday in conversation that he would definitely not do that. That was not part of the deal. But they do both want to end it. We'll tell you in a minute what Bill Cowher's advice was to Mike Holmgren.
On the 47, 3rd and 11. Great time, great block by Waters in the pass. Right on the money for Mike Pritchard, the wide receiver. Tackled by Washington. Pritchard had knee surgery August 21st. Played a little bit last week and picks up 15 right there on 3rd and 11.
That's Pritchard. Now you saw right at the snap of the ball, the blitz. He's going to bend in. See him slide back to the outside. He's just getting clear of the linebacker. The linebacker inside was Joey Porter, the rookie. The quarterback could feel him inside, and he drew him back out.
Pritchard caught an earlier pass for 51 yards, which set up the earlier field goal for Seattle.
We were told he's only 90% coming in.
1st and 10. Ricky Waters dashing up the middle and close to a 1st down. Tackled by Carlos Evans near the 27-yard line. 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons for Waters.
There was a long gain on the last play. Quick in and out of the huddle and get the ball to Ricky Waters before that defense had a chance to get their breath back. And that's why Ricky Waters is so effective. He can run inside or outside. He can take that quick snap and really take advantage of a defense that's not ready.
99 yards last week in Chicago. 21 the opening week against Detroit. That embarrassing 8-point loss up at the Kingdom.
You know, getting back to Joey Galloway, the wide receiver, we asked Bill Cowher if he had any advice for Mike Holmgren. He said, well, you just can't dwell on this thing. You can't, you can't let this thing be a distraction. And maybe when he comes back, it'll actually lift your team because he'll be another good player coming back to your ball club.
Some people have written that Mike Holmgren painted himself in the corner by saying that was our last offer. What do you think?
Well, in August, he said, you know, this is it. He made a phone call to Joey in good faith, but those phone calls always backfire, and it does paint yourself in a corner.
2nd and inches, and they blow that dead. It was a 7-year, $35 million offer. As we take a look at Phil Luckett on the field, and they discern what the flag is all about, but they don't have any salary cap room.
Prior to the snap, false start offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
Tight end Christian Fourier.
You know, Mike Holmgren, the cap room is not there, so they're boxed in that way. But I'll tell you, when you make a phone call to a player or when you're negotiating, the agent thinks of you as the enemy. There's no doubt about it. The player is told, be careful what you say. He's trying to set you up. He's trying to intimidate you. Joey Galloway even said in the paper that he thought it was an intimidation kind of call. It probably was not, but it always comes across that way.
2nd and 6, rolling as Kittner fires a pass incomplete with the hands of Mike Pritchard. Scott Shields was defending on the play, bringing up 3rd and 6. Let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, fellas, after Tim Couch fumbled at the 1, Stoney Case, the Ravens' new quarterback, keeps it. 1-yard touchdown. 10-0 Ravens, and the Stone Age is underway in Baltimore. Let's go back to you.
Interesting with that, Brian Billick, who is now the Baltimore head coach, was going to interview for the Cleveland job.
Well, he was interviewed, or he was talked about by a lot of teams because he had such a hot offense there in Minnesota.
Highest scoring in the history of the NFL. 3rd down and 6 from the 33. Quick pass, bobbled and dropped by Pritchard. Coverage by Scott Shields. And it'll be 4th down.
Chris Oldham, the safety for the nickelback actually for the Pittsburgh Steelers, blitzed right up the middle. There was no time for John Kitna to go anywhere but where he did and throw it on the middle. He's going to come from right here. Now watch him. He's going to sneak up. You'll see him. Here he comes right there. Now he's going to come up to shoot. Nobody picks him up. You got to get the ball off quick. That's how you end up 4th and 5.
Peterson will try a 51-yard field goal. Holding will be Fegers. And this one has the distance, and it is good from 51 yards away. Todd Peterson is the picture of determination. He tried out with 13 teams in 2 years before he signed with the Seahawks, and he puts them up 20-0.
Bill Luckett and Coach Bill Cowher, you see him talking right there. Those are their systems, their little buzzer systems that allow the coach to appeal and use the instant replay. He's got 2 appeals during the course of the game. Now, we were speculating that maybe on the interception or the almost interception by Travis Davis earlier, that maybe Bill Cowher wanted to chest it.
Inside the 10, here comes Blackwell on the Peterson kickoff, and he's upended by Jay Bellamy and Sean Springs. Pittsburgh has it again.
Seattle Seahawks look like a different football team, Kevin. The first half has been so hard for them. Only 100 yards in the first half going into this ball game now, and 7 points, 26 points, and 400, almost 500 yards in the second half. This ball game, though, they have certainly turned it around. Hard week of practice. Mike Holmgren emphasizing special teams is paying off.
Pittsburgh has their best beginning field position at the 29. Stewart wanting to wind up. He was whacked by Adams. Feeds outside and a pass to Bettis, who is brought down by Chad Brown. And Cortez Kennedy a gain of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 8. You take a look at Chad Brown. Led the AFC in tackles a season ago, but the last time we saw him, he was being wheeled out of the kingdom on a stretcher.
Well, and there were a lot of people hoping that there wasn't anything seriously wrong with him. They had him all tied down like you do, just to be sure. Tore a ligament, though, in his neck, bruised his neck. Laid out last week, back here ready to go.
2nd down and 8 from the 32. Bettis again with that bad knee that was repaired under the operator's knife on August 2nd. Tackle made by Bellamy.
The first 5 times Pittsburgh has touched the ball. Interception, punt, 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 punt. And look at these numbers right here. They're just not doing anything down the field. They're not moving the ball. They're not controlling the clock, even though the clock seems to look like it's in their favor, only because Seattle has scored so quickly on defense and on special teams.
And it is a rebuild offense with Kevin Gilbride.
It is. 128 yards already in this ball game against very little for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
3rd down and 6 from the 33. 5 receivers deployed.
There's the blitz.
Pass by Stewart, incomplete, whistling through the hands of Courtney Hawkins on the cross. They got a punt again. Monday on CBS, it's an all-new night of the best comedy on television, beginning with The King of Queens, then Ladies' Man, then everybody's favorite, Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by Ted Danson and Becker, and Family Law. New episodes this Monday night on CBS, America's most watched network. 4th 3 and out for the Steeler offense today.
Seattle is coming with a lot of the blitzes. Pittsburgh is bringing blitzes on occasion, but they are going more zone defense, and so far that hasn't worked.
Josh Miller spent a couple of years punting in the CFL, and he gets off a booming punt there, landing at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchback. What a great kick by Miller, who missed getting it in the coffin corner by literally inches.
And I'll tell you what, it's an argument on both sides, because it's the flight of the ball as it crosses that goal line, whether it's a touchback or on the 1-foot line.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Agilent Technologies, dreams made real, and by Taco Bell. Want some?
It is hot here on the field. They think upwards of 95 degrees, and you can see the fans blowing the players cool from the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 yards to go for the Seattle Seahawks. It's not been their offense. It's been their defense and special teams.
It has, but the defensive unit of Pittsburgh has to do something to turn it around. I look for a lot of pressure coming right up the middle pushing John Kitna deep.
First and 10, going deep on the sideline, incomplete. There was a flag on Chad Scott, who has struggled all season. The pass intended for Derek Mays. Scott was beaten last week for a game-tying touchdown in Baltimore. Coming back from major knee surgery rehab.
Of course, last year
pass interference, defense, number 30. That's an automatic first down.
Wyche coming up the side now. This is just one-on-one coverage. The rule is that you can't cut off, if you're a defensive player like Chad Scott, you can't cut off the running lane of the receiver, Derek Mays. In the judgment of the official, he did. It's a pure judgment call. It is not reviewable. You can't appeal that one. All you can do is argue your case.
Which is what Bill Cowher is doing.
Yes, and he will not win the argument, I can tell you from experience. You can have F. Lee Bailey with you. You've got no chance.
In essence, a 23-yard penalty. First and 10. Here comes Ricky Waters, and he's stuffed as he tries to go up the middle with no place to run. Earl Holmes, the 3-year starter, with the stop for that Pittsburgh defense, which came in today, number 2 in the NFL.
There's that pressure up the middle that I was talking about. The two big guys in there, Levon Kirkland and Earl Holmes, the two big linebackers. They line up fairly deep for inside linebackers, and they're coming downhill. They're running hard right at you. And so Kirkland, for example, is listed at 270. That was when he was 11 years old. And then Earl Holmes at 250. I think both of them can add about 20 pounds to it.
Kirkland, after his great performance last year in this game against Seattle, was the AFC Player of the Week on defense. Kitna throws on 2nd down and 10, and it's Mike Pritchard for a gain of 7 near midfield. Scott Shields, a rookie, making his first career start with the stop.
And you're going to see Holmes is going to blitz from the backside right here. Motion, though, to the inside, still his own defense. He just goes down to where he feels himself open, where he doesn't feel anybody pressuring him from either side, and just turns around. The read, the body language that he gives the quarterback is his shoulders. When his shoulders are square at the quarterback knows he's not going to move left or right. He just throws it right between the 8 and the 5.
Richard played 3 years for Atlanta, 2 for Denver, now in his 4th year with Seattle. 3rd and 3 from the 50 for Kitna. Good block by Jones. The pass caught for a first down by Mike Pritchard. That's a gain of 6 on 3rd and a handful. Shea Townsend was covered.
Here it is again, the same thing. Watch him just run straight up the field. Now this is a zone defense. You see they're running. Actually, I'm wrong on that. This is man-to-man. They were covering him. That was Shea Townsend trying to make the man-to-man coverage, but he has inside help, so it's a softer zone. You're not in that tight bump and run and what they call rerouting. You want to make them run a route they don't want to, or they haven't practiced in on the practice field all week.
On the 44, 1st and 10 after the fake handoff, the pass caught by Sean Dawkins at the Steeler 32. Scott was beaten, a gain of 13. The 6'4" Dawkins with the catch.
All he's going to do is just turn around right here, right in front of Chad Scott. This is such a quick throw. Nobody's going to get to him in time. You see how much cushion Chad Scott was giving him. Ball in the air, he probably had a 5-yard cushion, and really not a lot of help underneath. Pittsburgh is bringing 1 linebacker plus their 3 down linemen, so it's still a 4-man rush.
Getting this last week with the toe, but no real effects of that this afternoon.
Oh, he looks good. He is coming off that foot, rebounding real quick.
Handoff goes to Waters. A pulling block on the play by Habib, and a gain of 2 on the play. Townsend was there for the Steeler defense. We're down, approaching 5 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter. 20-0 Seattle on a 23-yard interception touchdown return by Merton Hanks in the first series of the game for Pittsburgh, followed by a 94-yard punt return for a touchdown by Charlie Rogers and 2 long Todd Peterson field goals.
And that last run by Ricky Waters was to keep him happy because they're moving the ball in the air. They pick up only 2 on the ground.
2nd down and 9. Good block by Williams. Screen pass, a block by Kendall. And here goes a corkscrew move to the 28 by Ricky Waters, tackled by Earl Holmes. Monday on CBS. If you think football is dangerous, imagine being the only man in a house full of women. Don't miss the new hit comedy Ladies Man Monday night. Running for the K Queens right here on CBS.
I know that's your fantasy growing up, and you've actually done that, haven't you?
I've got 3 girls.
3 beautiful girls.
Thank you. 3rd and 7. Short 7 to go from the Pittsburgh 28. Good block by Habib and a first down catch maybe by the diving Mike Pritchard, 9 years out of Colorado. He's close. That is his 5th catch today, his 3rd on 3rd down.
He's just going to, this is Mike Pritchard. See, he's going to peel right off the hip that time. And the problem that the defensive unit of Pittsburgh is having is that they're not able to get real tight coverage in their man-to-man because there are a lot of crossing patterns in front. And so it's like a basketball. They're having to check off and switch off or either go over the top. That time, Sean Dawkins was the pick man. Pritchard came across, didn't quite get enough for the first down.
This will be a 41-yard try by Peterson. He has kicked one from 45, from 51, and this kick is up and good from 41 yards away. So Seattle strikes again, and their lead, shockingly, at Three Rivers is 23-0 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. 8-play drive engineered by John Kitna, 57 yards, resulting in a 41-yard field goal. The offense has not scored a touchdown. We've seen a defensive touchdown and a Hanks interception, a special teams 94-yard punt return by Rodgers for a TD, and 3 Todd Peterson long field goals, that one from 41 yards away.
Well, I didn't think I'd ever say this, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are being handled by Seattle much the way Pittsburgh handled the Cleveland Browns on opening day.
43-0.
That was the final score. It's 23 now. Double that, it's 46-0. Of course, that's assuming everything continues the way it has been. But Pittsburgh's a good football team. They're going to be back in this thing. But nobody thought they would be handled the way they've been handled so far, especially the way Seattle was such a slow starter in weeks 1 and 2.
Peterson will kick it off. Amos Zeraway, the rookie from West Virginia, will watch it bounce at the 5 and ricochet out of bounds. So they'll begin at the 40-yard line. Peterson kicking out a play.
Well, they got field position.
Out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be put at the 40-yard line. First down.
A lot of new stadiums around the league. And there's something we'll ask our viewers to see if they notice anything about these stadiums. This year, Tennessee, Cleveland. Next year, Cincinnati. Here, 2001, Denver, New England, and Pittsburgh. Of course, in Seattle in 2002. You notice, though, that all of those are AFC cities. Just a coincidence? I think not.
Best beginning field position from the 40. First and 10. It's Pettis running for hardly any gain at all before he was stuffed by Anthony Simmons, a first-round pick last year out of Clemson. On the back of the helmets, you see the FS. That's Chad Brown's helmet right there for the late Fritz Shurmur, who came from Green Bay with the Holmgren staff and was going to be the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks.
And Mike Holmgren and Fritz Shurmur were very close friends. I think it threw Mike a curveball there and upset everybody, of course. Fritz Shurmur is such a great person, terrific coach, but somebody that everyone will miss beyond his football.
34 look on 2nd and 9. Stewart winds up there, intercepted by Sean Springs. Gets a block from Smith. He gets a block from Bellamy. He gets a block from Adams, and a block downfield from Chris Kennedy. A 35-yard return, the second interception thrown by Stewart. An incredible game by the Seattle defense today.
Zone defense. They're watching the quarterback. Sean Springs lays in the hole right there. He's just underthrown. Now he makes the first guy miss, and now look at all the blocks downfield. Everybody out front running and blocking. That's an illegal block on Cordell Stewart. He was blocked below the waist. It wasn't called, but you cannot block below the waist on a change of possession.
Springs, with 7 interceptions last season, made the Pro Bowl. That is his first of the year, and what a great job he did last week shutting down Curtis Conway of Chicago.
Well, he's their fastest guy. They claim he's 4.3 in the 40-yard dash. He always takes the best receiver each week.
Pittsburgh 17, 1st and 10. Here comes the blitz. They're chasing him. Kitna fumbles the ball. It's scooped up by Joel Steed. He's down at the Steeler 43. That is Seattle's first turnover of the day.
Pressure right up the middle. The pressure's coming right up the middle now, and nobody touches. It looks like Kevin Henry
You called it, Sam. The last series, you said the pressure would be definite up the middle.
It has to come up the middle. The quarterback for Seattle stays under center. They don't use that shotgun much, so your closest range to him is to come straight up the chute. That's Orpheus Roy. It wasn't Keegan Henry, but Orpheus Roy straight up the chute, causing the fumble. Quarterback, get that ball under your arm. Take your losses.
Well, we're just before the 2-minute warning, and Pittsburgh needs something good to happen from a 43. Handoff, Richard Huntley up the middle. He boosts for a gain of 9 to the Seattle 48. Brought down by Chris Canny, number 26, and Canny had a great game last week against the Chicago Bears. He breached the 2-minute warning in the first half. Pro Bowler Sean Springs, his dad played in the NFL for a handful of years. Ron Springs, running back with the Dallas Cowboys. He played at Ohio State and an All-Pro in his second season in the NFL.
Had a big game last week. Recovered a ball that Curtis Enos fumbled on their opening drive in Chicago. Kept him in, well, kept those 7 points off the board, and they end up winning by 3.
23-0 here, Seattle on defensive and special teams plays. Second down and 1. 2-minute warning from the Seattle 48. Pittsburgh has all 3 of their timeouts. Good block by Gandy. The pass caught by Corey Hawkins. Spinning and twirling his way for a first down. Clock continues to run. He's to the 38-yard line, picking up 10 yards. Willie Williams, the ex-Steeler, shows him out of play. NASDAQ halftime coming up. Jim Craig, Randy, and Jerry. Scores and highlights. First down and 10 on the 38. Adams trying to break through. Finally got to Stewart. Another interception. Picked off by Bellamy. That is the 3rd interception of Cordell Stewart today. Authored there by Jay Bellamy. 6 years on a Rutgers.
And I think he feels Sam Adams right there. He's coming right at him, lets the ball go quick. It sails on him. Jay Bellamy's really the only guy there. But look at the pressure right there. You see Sam Adams gets him after the throw, but he can feel him coming. And lets the ball go and sail. Sometimes when you think you're going to get hit, you put a little something on it because you think something will be taken away because of the hit.
This is resembling the last 5 games of last season for Stewart. He's already thrown 3 picks today. And Pittsburgh has got themselves in a pretty deep hole here before halftime, as you see Baltimore still shutting out Cleveland and Carolina doing the same to Cincinnati. Kansas City on top of Detroit. Lions came in unbeaten. And other scores. Buffalo the lead. Washington on top of the
ruling
Jets.
on the field.
They're going to review that on the field and see if indeed it was an interception. That is inside 2 minutes, so it was not initiated by Bill Cowher, but rather by the people upstairs.
And the key to that, of course, is that if the ruling is that they're right on the field, nobody gets penalized for timeout. This is what they're looking at now right here. Ball is thrown. There's the sail. It's Jay Bellamy. Boy, it looks like he catches that one clean all the way. Most of the time, we were told by Jerry Seaman, the head of officials in New York, when we had our meetings, the CBS meetings prior to the season, that about 80% of these that are reviewed in the last 2 minutes, in other words, coming from the booth, from the replay booth upstairs, would be reversed, because they're not going to come down with a review unless they think there's a real good chance that it would be reversed. From our views so far, though, that looked like it's a nice clean interception. All right, here's the throw. See the pressure coming from this side. There's the... Doesn't look like the ball was on the ground.
Let's see when he hits, if he kept it.
All right, elbows in. He's got possession. Look at the ball's in the right hand right there. It doesn't look like it's anywhere near the ground.
I think that's going to be inconclusive because you are blocked out on every angle because of his body and the way he fell down to the turf.
You have to be proven guilty there before you change that and on the field. But it looks like he falls on his left arm and shoulder with the ball under his right arm. There's the catch. See, the ball is under his right arm. You can see it.
And then he transferred the ball to his...
He really keeps it in the right. He's got it in both hands there.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Interception and return. First down,
I think it's a good call.
I do too.
I think it's a good call by Luckett and his crew.
And worthy of review, though.
Yes.
If there's any question,
with the score the way it is, with Pittsburgh driving, make sure you're right, even though it's still in the first half. Bill Cowher doesn't look too upset. He's hearing from upstairs from his coaches that were watching the same thing, that probably being told that it would not be reversed.
First and 10, handoff goes to Ricky Waters, and finally gobbled up by Earl Holmes. Timeouts now. Seattle has 1, Pittsburgh has 3, and the Steelers burn the first of their 3 as you take a look at Ricky Waters. Next week on CBS, doubleheader action, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore, Atlanta. Sam and I will be in San Francisco for the Titans and the 49ers. Steve Young is taking a beating as the quarterback for San Francisco. And the Jets, who are trailing now by 3 to Washington, could go to Denver without a win against and Denver is losing 2 at Tampa Bay. They could be 2 winless teams next week at Mile High.
Nobody thought that was going to be the case when they saw that on the schedule there. Tennessee at San Francisco. You and I'll get a chance to do that ball game. That one's going to be terrific. Tennessee much improved, although they looked good last year. In San Francisco, as you mentioned, they're getting their young. That's his last name. Quarterback banged up a little bit in terms of just getting a lot of hits.
I understood.
Yes, you did.
I understood.
Okay.
You're the only one that understands me. You and my mom.
Yeah. It's not great company. Second down and 6. Here comes Waters. And he tries to get upfield, a gain of 3. Because if it's not me or your mom and that's all you've got on your side, you're in trouble.
I thought you were talking about my mom for a minute.
I like your mom, especially when she makes us those cookies. Next Saturday, the Home Depot College Football on CBS zooms in on the Southeastern Conference. Alabama will take on third-ranked Florida. The Gators winning yesterday in Lexington, Kentucky. So they remain unbeaten so far. I like that Florida team. Steve Spurrier, the coach of Florida. That's next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, the Home Depot College Football.
Florida always fun to watch just because they're so explosive. And it's like watching a pro football game in terms of their offense. Great talent. Every year they get those fast wide receivers running down.
How do you explain Stewart's performance today for Coach Bill Cowher?
You know, I don't, because we talked to him yesterday. He was so confident. He felt good about the offense. Every week he should be getting better.
3rd and 3, Ricky Waters dazzling his way upfield, wheeling to the 46. It's a gain of 15, and the clock continues to tick. Oldham got him in the secondary.
And now Seattle takes a timeout. And those timeouts that Pittsburgh took on the last 2 downs have backfired on them because they couldn't hold Seattle and make a punt. Coming to the right side. It's going to be coming to the right side. Straight man-to-man blocking. Watch the offensive line just going to fire out. You see a little bit of a peel block right there. That's about it. But this is man blocking straight up the middle with Ricky Waters. And the thing that Ricky has is he rolls out of the backfield, gives everything a chance to spread, not get pushed back so much, but spread a little bit and then straight up the chute.
Mike Holmgren was in San Francisco when the Niners drafted Ricky Waters. So he's used to that West Coast offense. There's Tampa Bay leading Denver. Winless Denver. Baltimore still shutting out Cleveland. And Carolina shutting out Cincinnati. Cincinnati cannot find anything, and George Seifert going his first win perhaps. Kansas City on top of Detroit just before halftime. As you see the scores.
Much improved Kansas City. They have really come a long way with Gunther Cunningham.
Philadelphia winless. They look bad. They're losing 16-0 to Buffalo.
Hard to go up against Flutie. Guy keeps amazing everybody. And Washington, after 50 points last week, leading the New York Jets as they struggle to get their first win.
Look at St. Louis on top of Atlanta, 28-0.
It's not the same Atlanta, though, that you read in your media guide when the season started.
Paul Anderson's out for the season. 1st and 10. Kittner rolling, chased on the play by Henry and Steed, and Henry gets him around the ankles and brings him down. 1 minute remaining now in the first half. Second down and 10.
Just thrown away. John Kittner, for a young, he's still a very young quarterback, and he's 27 years old, but young in his profession, coming out of a small school. Smart play right here, though, on that last play. Don't give Pittsburgh, if you're a Seattle fan, a chance to get back in it late.
Got an interesting note on that Washington Jets game in just a second. Rick Meyer has thrown a touchdown pass for the Jets his first touchdown pass since he played for Seattle in December of '96, and the handoff goes to Ricky Watters, who is shifting his way to the 49. Gilden brought him down, a gain of 3. So the first touchdown pass thrown by Rick Myers since he was a Seahawk quarterback in '96.
Wow.
Dedrick Ward caught it today for the Jets. That is incredible.
Sounds like my career. I threw one every 4 or 5 years.
I'll tell you what, going to halftime with the lead at 23-0 has got to be pretty secure, considering what Mike Holmgren has had to say the last 2 halftimes.
Right.
One against Detroit, last week at Chicago, to his Seahawks.
Yep, he'll have a different speech, but just as important, because Pittsburgh is not going to come out here and give this one away.
3rd and 7. Kitna going long, looking for Dawkins, going against Washington. The catch at the 7. Clock is stopped with 7 seconds. Dawkins' best attribute is size at 6'4", hauls in a 44-yard pass reception, and they're going to try for 3.
Just going up the left side. Now watch the protection right here. Nice solid protection in the middle. One-on-one. A little bit of shoving. Officials feel like that's just incidental. But in field goal range easily with no timeouts. They've got to go ahead and kick the field goal now.
Peterson has kicked field goals from 45, 51, 41 yards. This will be a 26-yard try. And the kick is good as Seattle cashes in on the Jay Bellamy interception. The 3rd thrown by Stewart today. Dawkins, who caught 2 touchdowns in the first game against Detroit and 7 catches against the Lions, hauls in a 44-yard beauty, and here's the field goal again.
This 26-0, that does away with the scoring and going for 2 points, and they've got to now score 4 times to win this football game. That's assuming that the defense can keep Seattle from scoring anymore. A lot of the scoring, though, Kevin, has come on the turnovers. The interception early in the ball game. Merton Hanks scoring on the interception run back.
23 yards away.
All right, and Charlie Rogers, of course, the long punt return.
94 yards, a Seattle franchise record for punt returns and a kickoff. And a touchdown.
Then the other interceptions just set up the other scoring. This is a shocker right here. We're looking at the stand, people in the stands. They're looking around at each other like our 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers are not supposed to be trailing 26-0.
I think that Pittsburgh came into today, Sam, with the #1 giveaway takeaway in the NFL. They had not committed a single turnover, the only team in the league to do that coming into today. And they have been absolutely slashed by Seattle. Little squib kick. And this is picked up by Mitch Lyons, reserve tight end, and he is out to the 42, and that'll take us to halftime.
Listen to the crowd here. They support their Pittsburgh Steelers, but they also let them know when they're unhappy. And they're unhappy right now. Cordell Stewart, towel around his neck. He's got to be wondering what in the world hit him, because this time yesterday when we talked to him, he sounded like the confidence that John Kitna has shown this afternoon.
In that first half as well, Ricky Watters went up over 8,000 yards for his career. Cordell Stewart threw 3 interceptions. Watters is keeping him going on the ground. Merton Hanks had a 23-yard interception for a touchdown, and Charlie Rogers, the rookie from Georgia Tech, had a 94-yard punt return for a touchdown as we check in downstairs with Marcus Allen.
Hey, Coach, you got to be pleased with the score, but the name of the game is touchdowns. You scored one on special teams, you scored one on defense, but you haven't been able to catch touchdowns on offense, though.
I know our red zone, we sputter right around that 30 to 20 mark, and but that's the mark of a young team learning an offense. I like where we are, obviously, and it's a team sport, so I'll take the score.
Okay, Coach. Good luck the second half.
Thanks, Mark.
Back to Kevin upstairs.
Thank you, Marcus. At halftime, Seattle is shutting out Pittsburgh in a shocker 26-0. Up next, Jim and the gang with the NASDAQ halftime report.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ halftime report is sponsored by the NASDAQ stock market.
Well, that's why they call them special teams, and they are indeed special today for the Seattle Seahawks in the first half. Jim Nantz with you on the NASDAQ halftime report. And there it is, 26-0. Todd Peterson with 4 field goals. If you go back the last 3 games into last year, Seattle had not even made a field goal. 4 in the first half today. And Cordell Stewart, well, 3 picks thrown in the first half, and this one was run back by Merton Hanks for a touchdown.
You know, it's been a very, very rugged start, to say the least, for Cordell Stewart. And then Charlie Rogers takes over the special teams, the defense. They scored 13 touchdowns last year, which was an NFL record. There's one guy on the coaching staff that they kept. Holmgren says, I'm going to keep Pete Rodriguez, the special teams coach, and it's paying off for him here. I think as a general manager that it's safe to say he's made 2 good choices recently, Rodriguez and Merton Hanks.
All right, Craig, Randy, Jerry, let's continue on the NFL today. The scoreboard, you'll see that the Broncos and the Bucs have started the second half down in Tampa. And good news for Tampa Bay, a contusion suffered by Warren Sapp. They had some x-rays at halftime, but he's fine. He's maybe going to get back into the game. Mike Allstat scored first, though, here for Denver, rumbling 28 yards. He has 76 yards in the first half. Shanahan's team comes back to tie it, Greasy to Ed McCaffrey.
When they came back to tie it, that was after a fumble return by the Denver Broncos. By Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers are just whipping them. They're handling them, they're knocking them around, and I think it's safe to say physically this is a mismatch.
And you saw Sapp help to the sideline there, but he's fine. Again, x-rays proved negative, but the Bucs trying to keep the Broncos winless. Meanwhile, Detroit was 2-0 coming into the day, and the Chiefs with a touchdown pass to Tony Gonzalez and a 6-yard run for a score by Rashawn Sheehy, 10 up and backing up their win against Denver a week ago. Cleveland, another anemic performance offensively, 57 yards in the first half. And the Ravens, they got a whole new scene going there with a new quarterback today.
Well, you got Tim Couch, quarterback, 14 yards passing, but look on the bright side. After Ray Lewis sacks him there, he's got 41 yards rushing today. You know why? This young guy has been running for his life. And there's another good reason to run for your life. Looks like Boulware gets him, McCrary gets on the ball, and Stoney Case, the new starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, is the new kid in town and the Ravens' favorite quarterback prospect as of today.
Well, he's thrown for only 65 yards, but Case in college threw 98 touchdowns in his career at the University of New Mexico, second all time. Cincinnati and Carolina, and the Panthers with the longest rushing touchdown in franchise history. Bruce Coslett with his banged-up quarterback Jeff Blake are unable to muster any points so far. But here he is, Tim Biaka Batuka, 62 yards for a Panther team record and the touchdown.
Well, it's a good thing they got that long run, Jim, because other than that, they only have 17 total yards. The guy that's really lighting it up for Cincinnati is Dillon, the running back. He's got 90 yards at halftime, but the Bengals have no chance of scoring.
Blake's picked, and Kajana Carter, by the way, folks, he dislocated a kneecap in the first half. Just injury plague throughout his career, the former first pick in the draft. Okay, Philadelphia and the Bills, and Christie with 4 field goals, like Mr. Peterson for the Seahawks, and Flutie with a touchdown pass to Remersma, and Philadelphia bageled there in the first half, Craig.
You're right about that. They're going to have a lot of donuts this year. But this is one of those deals where they got to come out and Buffalo rally around what they've got going on, because the AFC East, again, without Vinny Testaverde over there, is open for grabs. And now Doug Flutie has a chance to take his team all the way.
Remember last year, guys? I mean, last year everybody said, oh, it's the Jets. Oh, it's the Dolphins. Who are those guys up in upstate New York? Buffalo is very solid. Wade Phillips has done a nice job. So is John Butler, the general manager. This is a very solid football team.
Let's not forget our first show when Craig James said the Eagles stink. They're the worst team in the country. I think you're still right.
I still didn't say that, but I'll take credit.
You're still big in Philadelphia, aren't you? You know how to warm up the folks down there. Meanwhile, the Redskins and Jets, here's a good note for you. Darrell Green with an interception and an NFL record with it. 17 consecutive seasons with at least 1 interception, and the Redskins lead the touchdown Stephen Davis, who scored 3 times last week playing at Giant Stadium, and their trouncing of the Giants. They're up a field goal on this one. And now the Rams off the bye week all over Atlanta. It looks desperate for the Falcons. Chris Chandler re-aggravating the hamstring injury, and Kurt Warner, how about him? 3 touchdown passes.
He hit 7 different receivers in the first half. That means he understands the offense, and he's spreading it around, taking what the defense gives him.
All right, so Dick Vermeil on his way to a 2-0 start and looking pretty strong. Thanks for being with us on the NASDAQ halftime report. Second half coming up from Pittsburgh when we continue on CBS in just a moment.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ halftime report is sponsored by the NASDAQ stock market. CBS CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Stock Market.
Punt return for a touchdown for Seattle. 4 field goals by Todd Peterson. 26-0 over the Steelers. Will return to Pittsburgh after this message from your local station. Seattle on top of Pittsburgh 26-0 with Sam Wyche. This is Kevin Harlan. We know what's going right with the Seattle Seahawks. What's going wrong with Pittsburgh?
Well, in a word, turnovers. That'll kill you every time. But the other part of it is that the pass rush is pretty good by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. The problem is that the coverage is not real tight, and the quick throws by John Kidna, they're still getting things happening down the field. And of course, anytime that you are turning the ball over as much as the Pittsburgh Steelers are, 3 interceptions by Cordell Stewart already in this ball game, you're against a good football team, you're going to have trouble.
Amon Green will return the kickoff. Had a concussion last week in Chicago and is up to the 28-yard line. Amon Green has got great speed. In fact, he's toying with the idea of trying out for the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney, Australia. So we'll see what Seattle has done, what they've got cooked up after their halftime and a substantial 26-0 lead over Pittsburgh.
Well, I'll tell you, the halftime demeanor and the noise level was probably about the same, with Seattle cheering and pushing each other to have 30 more minutes of the same kind of play, and Pittsburgh yelling at each other to get things together. And I'll guarantee you who the lead cheerleader was in there, Bill Cowher.
Pitch in on first down goes to Waters, trying to get outside, and then finally Carlos Emmons tracks him down. Great pursuit by Emmons.
Here's how the quarterbacks matched up in the first half. The big one, of course, being the turnovers. Anytime you have a 3-turnover half, you're going to be trailing. We'll get a look at that here in a minute.
Flag was thrown on the previous play. And it was against, I assume, Seattle.
Pittsburgh looks like they've had a good tongue lashing at halftime. They came out looking all over the ball that time defensively.
Personal foul, illegal crackback block, offense number 28. The penalty is declined, making it second down.
Number 28, there is no 28 on the offense. Kerry Joseph is the 28 on defense.
Yep.
Unless you meant 68.
I think probably it was, and that's a new rule this year in the NFL. The interior lineman used to be able to clip from behind in the interior line, but that rule has been changed for the safety of the defensive players, and that's what they got. Looked like that's what they got Brian Habib for.
So second down and 16, handoff. Great slicing move by Ricky Waters. A gain of 17 on the play, up to the 40. He buzzsaws the Pittsburgh defense. Got Shields with the stop.
And Pittsburgh comes with a blitz right here, and they run right by Ricky Waters. Watch, here comes the blitz right up the middle, and Ricky Waters runs right past them. The last guy that had a chance, Joey Porter, the rookie, before they get to the safeties, and he doesn't get the job done. Ricky Waters off to a fast start in the second half.
He can detonate so quickly off that first move. 13 carries, 58 yards. That time he was stopped in his tracks. Joel Steed, along with Levon Kirkland, were right there, knocking out, putting the handcuffs on Waters.
Grant Williams trying to make a block on Steed. We were told yesterday I asked Bill Cowher who he thought was playing best on that defensive line, and first guy he said, Joel Steed. John Kidna, good first half, solid first half. Now as a young quarterback, hold this team together, keep it going.
Buccaneers still on top. Cleveland has scored 3 on Baltimore. Second down, 11. Here comes Waters outside. They may give it to Waters a lot in the second half, and there may have been a loose ball, but they mark it down. Fourier may have jumped on it. Jason Gilden jumped on Waters.
Well, I'm sure that they want to use the clock and get this game over with. They've got a nice lead and just go ahead and finish the ball game off. But at the same time, you don't want to go away from what worked in the first half. And the thing that worked for them best offensively for Seattle was that intermediate passing game, that 10 to 12-yard passing game where they got the ball off quick. Even though they were getting some pressure from Pittsburgh, the coverage was soft enough to get the passes in.
Now 39 from the 41. Fourier holds Holds on to his, blocking a pass. Is caught by Dawkins on a slant to the Pittsburgh 46, who was working on Washington, who's been burned all day. A gain of 14 yards right there.
Now, Pittsburgh is coming with a lot of stuff. They're going to have a little stunt coming right here, but watch the protection by the Seattle Seahawks. See the stunt, see the cross move right here. But Seattle picking it all up, giving John Kitna enough time to throw. When you've got all that movement in front of you, you've got to pass people off. You can't go chase them down the line if you're an offensive lineman.
And this is an offensive line which, coming into today, Sam, had given up an AFC high 12 sacks.
6 John Kitna and 6, of course, for Glenn Foley last week.
First and 10 from the 45 of Pittsburgh. Kitna winds up, and it's almost picked off. Incomplete. Flag is down. Jason Gilden just about picked it off. This penalty flag will be on Seattle.
I think it's going to be on Grant Williams, who got a little bit of a hand up in the face of Nolan Harrison, defensive end for Pittsburgh. Bill Cowers telling him, take him on back. Even though it was an incomplete pass, he's already knows what he wants to do.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
Grant Williams log on to the NFL and vote in the continuing series of the best NFL photos of the century, only at www.nfl.com.
Derek Mays out of the ball game here on 1st and 20.
Dawkins was a nice pickup from New Orleans.
Sean Dawkins, another one of those good hands people.
1st and 20. Here's a block by Williams. And not a lot of room to roam for Ricky Waters. He gets maybe to the line of scrimmage. Jason Gilden again makes the stop.
Lots of good pursuit by Pittsburgh. They're chasing hard. If you're sitting upstairs and you're scouting as a Seattle offensive play caller, look for a reverse, some kind of a counter back to the other side, because Pittsburgh is fired up defensively and they are all in hot pursuit of the ball carrier.
Any adjustments you see right now by the Steelers, aside from what you just said?
Other than hustle, I mean, you know, they didn't do a bad job. They were getting close to the quarterback, John Kitna. Remember, he got hit several times. I can think of one where Jason Gilden just knocked him silly, but he completed the pass down the field to Christian Fourier coming out of the end zone in the first half.
2nd and 20. It's Brown with a big hole, and then finally dragged down by Emmons. Gain of 10. Reggie Brown is out of Fresno State, a career backup until this year.
Look how deep the linebackers line up. They line up that deep so they can come straight downhill. Now watch when the ball is snapped. They take their little, it's a draw play, and then they come straight up the field. But when they come straight up the field, if an offensive lineman can get a hat on them, the draw play works, and that's what they did there. Not only does that keep the clock running for the Seattle Seahawks, it's a safe play, knowing that Pittsburgh is in a pass defense mode there on 2nd and long. And it gets them back to a 3rd and 10, at least a reasonable chance to make the first down.
They got to get inside the 36 of the Steelers. Pritchard in motion. 3rd and 10. Kitna throws high and incomplete for a crossing Pritchard at the 40-yard line. Incomplete pass, and so Seattle and Mike Holmgren will have to punt.
I don't know who that was to. Sean Dawkins was deep. Pritchard was short. The ball was between the two of them. As you can see, Mike Holmgren saying, don't throw to the green grass. I've said that many times. I've come off and said, who are you throwing the ball to? Don't answer me. Just go sit down. I'll say something I'll regret.
Will Blackwell inside the 10. Fiegel set the punt with a little bit of a breeze at his back here as we begin the 2nd half. Fair caught at the 15-yard line by Will Blackwell. He was a number 2 pick back in '97. 31-yard punt by Fiegels. And the Steelers will get it with maybe a new quarterback. No surprise that 37-year-old Mike Tomczak has taken the place of Cordell Stewart, who threw 3 first-half interceptions for the Steelers. And he begins at his own 16, 1st and 10. The fake to Bennis, a block by Gandy. Here comes Adams. There goes the throw, and it's almost picked off in the secondary. Incomplete. They were looking at Bruner. The coverage by Williams.
Philip Daniels at the very end of this play really levels Mike Tomczak. Tomczak, 15 years in this league.
Played with Chicago, Green Bay, and Cleveland.
Watch right here. What? Play is gone now. Phil Luckett is standing right there beside him. That wasn't a vicious throw. The contact was made. That tackler's not sure whether the ball went away or whether he just tucked it in tight.
Tomczak until that time had gone 8 of 8. Second down and 10. Handoff goes to the bus, and he runs into his center, Dermontti Dawson, a 7-time Pro Bowler. And that stopped him about as much as anything as you take a look at Cordell Stewart with the 3 interceptions in the first half.
Darren Smith, Sam Adams right there. As we look at scores around the league, Baltimore, George Seifert looking like he is on his way to his first victory there at Carolina. Kansas City, who we saw them a few weeks ago. They look so much better than they did early in the year.
Third down and 10 from the 16. High snap, pull down, blitzes on. Here comes Chad Brown. Ball is caught by Richard Huntley as blockers ahead, has a first down up to the 35-yard line. No flag on the play, a gain of 18. Now a flag has been thrown late, and it's against Seattle and on Chad Brown.
It was on the blitz by Chad Brown, hit the quarterback, and in the view of Phil Luckett, it was a late hit. Either a late hit or led with his helmet.
Brown left here 2 years ago to go to Seattle as a free agent.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 94. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Coming from this side now, here comes the blitz. This is Chad Brown, former Steeler. Here he comes right off the side. You see him coming. There's the hit. I don't know if that's interference, but it's 15 yards to the end of the play. The only thing I can see them there is helmet-to-helmet contact, but that was very incidental, and his helmet was up. It was really face mask to the upper part of the body of Mike Tomczak. But again, the officials are being very, very careful to protect the quarterback, who is virtually defenseless when he's in the throwing motion.
First and 10 from the 49. Handoff goes to Dennis, who is inhaled defensively by Darren Smith. You know, Seattle got all these great free agent players: Warren Moon, John Freeze, Ricky Waters. Maybe the best of the lot was this linebacker who came before Philadelphia from the Dallas Cowboys, Darren Smith.
Well, he's athletic. He's quick up. Not a real tall guy. He's about 6'1", maybe a little bit more, but real athletic in terms of changing direction. And when you're a defensive linebacker, you've got to be able to backpedal, plant, and change direction. Take the right angles. He can do it.
Second and 10. Huntley is whacked. No place to go as Sam Adams steamrolls him at the 45. Adams looks great today. Monday on CBS. Forget De La Hoya in Trinidad. The biggest fight this season is between Raymond and his wife, Deborah. And you won't believe what they're battling over. Check it out on all new Everybody Loves Raymond Monday night right here on CBS. Again, America's most watched network.
Already one of my favorite shows.
CBS won the season premiere last week. Congratulations to them in the programming department. Third down and 12 upcoming from the 47-yard line. Shotgun snap. Here comes Sinclair. Tomczak gets away. Throws a pass to Bruner. Breaks the tackle of Cannon. He's down to the 45. Shy of a first down by 4 yards. Darrell Williams finally sealed him up. Do you go for it on 4th and 4?
I think you have to. You're down 26-0 now. You're still in the third quarter, but you've got to go ahead and say, hey, we're going for the win. Watch right here. This is Michael Sinclair, terrific sack man. This guy gets a lot of sacks every year. Mike Tomczak moves out of the way just long enough to get it off, and they are going for it on 4th down.
Got to get to the 41. It's 4th and 4, and a timeout burned by Tomczak. He's got 2 left in the second half. So we'll talk it over with offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride and Coach Bill Cowher, down 26-0 midway through the third quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Gatorade Thirst Quencher, is it in you? And by the new larger Saturn L Series.
Beautiful September afternoon here in Pennsylvania with Sam Wyche, Kevin Harlan. 26-0 with the Seattle Seahawks shutting out Pittsburgh. Steelers have made a quarterback change. Face 4th and 4 at the 45.
I think they'll get Tomczak out of the pocket. They should expect pressure from Seattle up front.
And they blow that play dead in mid-motion.
Ooh, but look at Cortez Kennedy standing right next to Mike Tomczak when the whistle blew.
Good point.
There was pressure up front. Just the 4 guys, no extra pressure.
False start. offense number 65. 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
Alan Faneca, 2 years out of LSU and last year's #1 pick.
Now it's tougher to go for it on 4th down now. They may go back to the punt, but they're not. They are going to hold right to it. And they're really giving up field position if they don't make it at this point. And the ball's going in the air. You can almost count on that. So it's either going to be complete for what should be a 1st down, or Seattle's going to get the ball at midfield.
50-yard line, 4th down and 9. They've got to get inside the Seattle 41. Good time in the pocket. Here comes Adams. There goes the pass. There goes a flag. It's caught by Troy Edwards, still on his feet, shy of the 1st down. Tackled at the 47-yard line by Jay Bellamy. There is a flag at the 49.
The way the flag's thrown, they may have had a lineman downfield too early. That's what they're calling. It's a little quick screen to Troy Edwards. Is a quick wide receiver, their rookie.
Ineligible downfield on the pass. Offense number 72. The penalty is declined. Ball goes over. 1st down.
Something you just said. That's Wayne Gandy, who was acquired as a free agent from St. Louis. He is the 4th left tackle in 3 years for Bill Cowher. Now look where Seattle begins at the 50-yard line and leading 26-7. That score doesn't lie. 26-0 with Seattle on top of Pittsburgh. Kevin Harlan alongside Sam Wyche. I don't know what's more impressive, the offense, the defense, or the special teams for the Hawks today.
Who do you give the game ball to? The Seattle Seahawks look so sharp. Offensively, everything's clicking for them. Their defensive pressure, they don't have to bring extra people. Their linemen can do it. And special teams scoring touchdowns.
1st down and 10 yards to go. Kitna from the 47 throws a pass caught by Fourier, the tight end, to the Pittsburgh 40-yard line. A gain of 15 on the play, tackled by rookie Scott Shields. Fourier out of Colorado. A good blocker, but a great catch there.
Fourier's going to come across the field. A little roll to the right. Fourier crossing. Nobody there, really. They take the fake on the run. Scott Shields, the rookie, who's playing in place of Lee Flowers, who was injured last week, out with an ankle, be out for a couple more weeks.
Slid down to the 38. 1st down and 10 yards to go. Play action. Kitna swings a pass to the side, caught by Derek Mays, who had 7 catches in a career day last week against the Chicago Bears. A gain of 6 there. Let's go to Jim Nantz.
All right, Kevin, this might be the best move of the day we've seen so far. Tim Biakapatuka of Carolina reverses his field, and he's going to break a record that he had set in the 1st half. The longest touchdown run in Carolina history. He had one for 62 in the 1st half, the record. This one's 67, the new mark. Let's go back to you, Kevin and Sam.
Thank you. Carolina losing to Jacksonville by 2 last week. Looks like George Seifert will get his first win. 2nd down, 4. Kitna down the sideline for Dawkins. Caught inside the 10. Down to the 8. He burns Chad Scott. A gain of 24. 1st and goal to go, Seahawks.
Just a little bit of a hesitation move down the sideline. I see the pump fake. The cornerback, Chad Scott, was looking through back to the quarterback. He froze for a second when he saw the pump fake, and he felt the receiver making an inside move. And Dawkins went right up the sideline. Beautifully thrown pass over the shoulder where the defender Scott couldn't get to it.
1st and goal from the 8. Waters in the backfield, fumble on the snap, and down goes Kitna in a heap, and Steed then adds more weight to the problem. Joel Steed, all-pro in 97. 2nd down and goal.
Well, that'll give Mike Holmgren something to yell at when this game's over with. So many things have gone right for Seattle. Just pulls away from it. John Kitna didn't ride the center. He's making a read. It was going to be a handoff to the left with a long reach. And John Kitna tried to get the early start on that.
Kitna looks to be limping a little bit. Hurt the toe. Look at him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The way he came out of that huddle, his toes bothering.
2nd down, goal from the 8. Mays in motion. Waters, the handoff, breaks one tackle, and then he is part of an avalanche of Pittsburgh Steelers back to the 14. Nolan Harrison was there. Harrison is hurt. The ex-Raider is in pain. He's had injury problems here.
Yeah, that's Nolan Harrison. Kitna is definitely hurting. I think we're going to see some. Watch coming from this side. Quick. There's nothing he can do. That's quick containment. Watch how fast the outside is shored up. Right in here. There's nowhere to go, and he's got to come back. But the guy coming through, Nolan Harrison,
Just misses, makes everybody miss, but comes up with a bad shoulder. There was nowhere to go if he'd have gotten past Nolan.
On the 13, 3rd and goal to the end zone, incomplete, and no flag as Mays was triple teamed, and Kitna tried to squeeze it into a thicket of Pittsburgh defenders. They'll try it for 3. Tom Peterson will come in.
The throw's going to come from this side right here. There's the release. Scott Shields has a right to the traffic area right there. He can go after the football. That's who he collides with. Derek Mays and Scott Shields. The reason no flag is thrown is that both players were going for the football. No one was trying to interfere with the opportunity to catch of the other.
Peterson will try a 30-yard field goal here, and it hits the upright, no good. His first miss today. He had kicked 4, and he misses right there, his second miss of the season. That's enough to make you screw up your headset and take it off and seethe.
It's a 3-person deal right here in addition to the protection. As you can see, the protection looks like it's holding up fine. The snap, the hold, and the kick, that's what's involved. These kicks should happen in about 1.5 or 1.6 seconds. That's all it takes for all of that to happen.
He kicked that on the laces. Is that normal?
It is not normal. The laces are supposed to be going away from the kicker. I'm not sure that it makes a great deal of difference on a short kick like that, but definitely you want the laces away, and they were not.
He kicked it on the laces, and we're going to search for that replay again because that may have been the problem.
Mike Holmgren is arguing about something with the officials. I'm not sure what he possibly could have a beef about. But he is certainly pleading a case for something. It was there were not too many men on the field. Didn't look like anybody jumped early. The ball was snapped and the placement goes down, and let's see where the laces are. This is the part right here is where the ball is going to be placed. Where are the laces? Don't be facing the kicker. They are. And when a kicker's looking at those laces, it means that as his foot hits the ball, it's just like the ball can come off left or right, like having a little mud on your golf ball when you're hitting a little chip shot.
Thanks to our director Dick Klein and our producer Bob Dekas. That may have been the reason why he missed it. He's had a great day. He's hit from 45, 51, 41, and 26 yards. With Peterson with his second miss of the season right there.
Normally that would not be a factor at that range because you're going to just carry it right on through.
Friday on CBS, New York Magazine calls Now and Again the best thing by far on any of the networks. Don't miss an all-new episode Friday on CBS. Wait, wrong card. 60 Minutes, Touched by an Angel, and CBS Sunday Night Movie, A Song from the Heart.
Hey, you just told on yourself there. Did you know that, mister? You're a professional. You're not supposed to make a mistake like that.
I only read what they give me. We're going to have to play here on the 3rd. 1st and 10 by Tom Zach. In again. Here's the pass down the middle, caught by Bettis, who rolls out to the 26-yard line. Anthony Simmons, the tackle, a gain of 6.
Now, Pittsburgh should be getting themselves back into first quarter mentality. Just get back into the ball game and get a score under your belt. Get back into the ball game. They've had a break here. There was a fumble, if you remember. Kitna fumbled the ball, took away one down. They missed the field goal. They've got a chance to get themselves within 19 points of the lead if they can just peck away at it. Don't try to score too fast if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler.
2nd down 4. Here comes Bettis, slashing his way, bulldozing his way up to the 45. Down at the 46, tackled by Darrell Williams, a gain of 20. Sean Springs had to help with the bus, who still has a bad hamstring and a bad knee and is not 100%.
Now watch, the Pittsburgh Steelers like to pull people around. Let's see if they bring their guard around and try to seal it. See the guard kind of set, then they peel this way. After that, it's up to the bus. He's playing not 100%. Richard Huntley comes in to spell him here and there to make sure he's going to last the entire ballgame and the entire season. But when you're behind like that, give it to your bell cow, and that's Jerome Bettis.
46, where it's 1st and 10. The shotgun snap to Tom Zach. Here comes Sinclair. There goes the pass, and it's incomplete with no flag thrown. They were looking for the wide receiver, Will Blackwell. And he was covered on the play by ex-Steeler Williams. And there you take a look at Nolan Harrison being helped off the field and to the Pittsburgh locker room.
So he made the big hit on Ricky Waters just a moment ago down around the 5 or 10 yard line. Cordell Stewart been demoted to a spectator for the rest of this ball game, barring an injury.
Second down and 10 for the 46.
Comes a blitz.
Picked up well. Gandy with the block. There's the pass. It's caught by rookie Troy Edwards. A gain of 4. He's to the 50, which will now set up third down at about 6. Williams with the catch of Edwards, and I guess they're going to rule it incomplete now. Incompleted pass by Tom Zach to Troy Edwards.
And actually, that was caused by the quick pressure that was coming. It didn't get there, but Tom Zach knew it was coming. They brought their 3 rushers up front plus 2 linebackers, and then what's called a key blitz. As soon as everybody blocked, another guy came from the backfield, and he forced the quick throw by Tom Zach. He grounded it in front of the receiver.
Third down and 10 for the 46-yard line.
4-man rush.
Good blocking on the side by Anthony Brown, and the pass to the sideline. Caught inbounds at the 37-yard line by Troy Edwards.
Wow.
That's good for a first down. Gain of 17 on the play as he beats Jay Bellamy.
A straight 4-man rush. Now watch the offensive line. Keep shuffling, passing people off. Everyone's searching up front. Now the quarterback's going to scramble his right and let one go high and wide. Troy Edwards, the rookie, both feet clearly in bounds. Big first down. They needed that one if you're a Pittsburgh fan.
So Pittsburgh has their deepest penetration to the 37-yard line of Seattle, and the Hawks will call a timeout with 1:32 to play in the third quarter. Seattle leading 26-0. Pittsburgh has changed quarterbacks, trying to start something.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nextel, how business gets done, and by the United States Army, be all you can be.
Part of the Golden Triangle here outside Three Rivers Stadium with Sam Wyche, Kevin Harlan. Mike Tomczak is the new quarterback. He starts the second half for Pittsburgh, and he's a pretty good second half quarterback.
Well, his rating is #1 in the National Football League in the second half. He's got a rating of 146.2 in the second half. You know, of course, how that happened.
Against Cleveland, they went 8 of 8, and then 43-0 Pittsburgh win. There's another flag to stop that play. Did you see Chad Brown?
He is so quick.
He was on Tomczak almost before the ball got back to him in the shotgun snap.
We'll see who gets called for being too quick, but Chad
Prior to
Brown.
the snap, false start, 63 offense, illegal snap, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the 7-time Pro Bowler Dermontti Dawson, who today is making his 167th consecutive starts, the longest tenure of any player on the Steelers.
Out of the University of Kentucky. I was coaching in Cincinnati when he was playing there, and he was a guy I had on the top of the board. Let's get him in the draft somehow, some way. Of course, he was taken by Pittsburgh before we got our chance, and he's playing just the way I thought he would.
First and 15, Tomczak down the middle throws. It's caught inside the 20-yard line. Reception is made by Courtney Hawkins. A gain of 23, and so the 7th play run in Seattle territory today by Pittsburgh is a good one.
This is just a little seam pass going right down the middle. This is Courtney Hawkins, about 5'9", 5'10". See him right in behind the linebacker, Darren Smith. And the ball well thrown just over linebacker's head.
First and 10, intercepted at the goal line by Willie Williams. And the ex-Steeler picks off Tomczak, the 4th interception thrown by Steeler quarterbacks today. Williams snares it at the goal line.
The only discussion on the end of this between the officials is not is it an interception or not, but is it in the end zone or at the 1-foot line. Look at Willie Williams. This cuts right in front, lands very close to that goal line. This one is one that might be reviewed. All he's got to be doing is touching that white line, and the ball comes out to the 20 rather than being on about the 1-inch line as it'll turn out to be. This would be one, though, Kevin, that would have to be called for a review by Mike Holmgren and his staff.
Williams with his 2nd interception of the year.
Good protection. Coming across the inside. Clean interception.
just outside the goal line.
Timeout. Seattle's ball. Willie Williams intercepted the ball inside the one on a pass intended for Hine Ward. Pittsburgh was moving well. And here's a handoff to Ricky Waters, and he has no place to run, running outside. Tackled by Jason Gilden.
This is one of those times where you've got two ways to go. You punch it out. You don't do anything D. You can't run across the backfield. Or you fake up the middle and you try to hit a home run and get yourself out of trouble. Or not necessarily a home run, but get a pass down the field. Knowing, of course, that if there's holding in the end zone, it's a safety. Of course, if you get tackled in the end zone, it's a safety. Those are the risks you run. Kitna looks like he's a little better. It looks like he may have just aggravated that toe without re-injuring it.
Second down 10 from the one. A pass thrown, almost picked off, incomplete. Wayne Washington fronted the tall receiver, Sean Dawkins, well. Incomplete pass.
Well, now they're in a third down situation. My guess is that they'll try to give themselves a little bit of room here for their punter and go ahead and punt the ball, because the Pittsburgh Steelers will definitely be in a pass rush mode. But here come the extra receivers. Here come the nickel defenders in for Pittsburgh. All the personnel substitution. Every year in the league meetings, they talk about how can we reduce all these personnel changes on third down. They'd rather play with the same 11 guys out there.
We're down in 10 from the one. Neely, the tight end, in motion. Kitten out of the pocket. Chased by Gilman. Throws a pass. Caught by Mays for a first down at the 15. What a catch. He beat Chad Scott. He's got great hands. The all-time receiving and touchdown leader at Notre Dame.
Now he's getting out of the pocket, and that's to buy enough time to get this kind of a pass open. Both feet have to come down in bounds. Both feet do. And look at the officials. But one down here and one up here. Both of them looking at that one to be sure there was no juggling of the ball. The only question there was possession, because both feet were clearly in bounds.
Mays coming off a career day last week. Big catch right there as we close the third. It's all Seahawks. Well, the horn section of the University of Pittsburgh marching band lying idle. We begin the fourth quarter here at the 15-yard line. First and 10, Ricky Waters. Trying to cut the corner without a whole lot there. Perhaps a gain of a yard, tackled by Joel Steed.
And now, entering the fourth quarter, Seattle has told their quarterback, I am sure, use 35 seconds if you can every snap of the ball, work the clock. Players keep the ball inbounds if you can, but you don't want to be thinking about that too much at this point, other than your quarterback, just keeping him conscious of how long to keep him in the huddle. Mike Holmgren, of course, calls all the plays for Seattle. There you see, they're going to work it all the way down inside 5 seconds.
16-yard line, second down and 9. Outside it goes, and the pass is hauled in by Mike Pritchard, who caught a 51-yarder earlier in the game and set up the field goal. Coming up on the American General post-game report, Jim Craig, Randy, and Jerry will have all the scores and highlights and recap all of today's action in the NFL. That's all coming up on the American General post-game report.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Jerry Glanville has actually asked it to be Jim, Jerry, Craig, and Randy?
You mean Jerry, Jim, Craig?
Oh, is that the way? Okay. I knew there was discussion going on. I didn't know exactly where it was.
3rd and 3 from the 22. The pitch out to Waters, the end around to Fabian Bones, tracked down by Holmes and Emmons. They douse him at the 5. Great defensive play. Fabian Bones caught that game-cinching touchdown reception last week in Chicago after getting cut by the Bears. He came back to get him for the Hawks.
Now, what's the linebackers on the backside? They're going to hold their ground. Remember, I mentioned earlier that they were pursuing hard, the Steelers were, and that you could look for the reverse. Well, it's been too long now. This is more of a place in the ballgame where they're looking for either a quick pass or the straight-ahead run. There's a block.
Huntley just about had it on Fiegel's kick. Here comes Blackwell near midfield, gets a block from Simmons, runs outside, got a block from Townsend, down the sideline. He gets a block from Lance Brown. He's inside the 15-yard line. 45-yard punt by Fiegels, a 37-yard return. the residue of some of the special teams problems that Seattle has been going through the first couple weeks.
It's not for the kicker right here, saving this one. To watch right here, they're coming straight up the middle. Look how close they come to blocking this one.
Richard Huntley.
And then it goes back to Will Blackwell, who last week had the 2 big kickoff returns that got Pittsburgh back into the ball game. Helped them win that ball game in Baltimore. But now they've got field position. The interception a moment ago turns out not to be a killer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're back down, knocking at the door again.
So now at the 14-yard line, where Tom Zach remains the quarterback, Cordell Stewart threw 3 first-half interceptions. Well, and this may be reviewable because Phil Luckett is going to decide, are they checking if he stepped out of bounds, perhaps, on the return?
That would be the only thing I think that they may be questioning, is whether he had the big return or not. It's not going to be questioned here on the block. This is not reviewable. This would be judgment. Of course, he's not touched at all. No one. He's okay. And here's what they're reviewing. Does he get clean down the sideline? Right there would be one question. Looks clean all this way. There was one spot that would make the difference of about 20 yards. From that view, I'm not sure it was conclusive. Remember, there is exactly a 90-second limit from the time Phil Luckett puts his head under that cover. He's got 90 seconds to make a decision. There he comes down. Now, right there. That was the one that may be ruled out of bounds, depending on how certain Phil Luckett feels he can be from that view. Will Blackwell well aware of that sideline. He was trying to tightrope it. The one thing about instant replay is it has stopped the break in the momentum of the tempo of the ball game, except for crucial calls, big ticket calls as they call it, as they term it. Right there. Is he out of bounds or not? What's your call,
I'm going to say he's in bounds.
I'm going to say they can't decide from that whether he's in or out of bounds.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The runner did not step out of bounds. Seattle is charged a timeout. Timeout, Seattle.
So Seattle is out of timeouts now at 12:49 to play. And Pittsburgh has all 3 of theirs.
Still a good challenge. They probably will not need their timeouts. And it would have made the difference in about a 20-yard placement of the ball there. Chance to not let Pittsburgh have such a good opportunity to get back in this ball game, trailing 26-0.
Steelers next week will play Jacksonville here. Seattle goes home to play a Sunday night game against Oakland.
Well, this is not what the crowd thought they were going to see today. The Steelers on the road, 2-0 against division opponents coming in to this ball game. A lot of the crowd has decided to head on out to the local establishments for a couple of frothy beverages, I think.
Or just go home.
Or that too. Just say to heck with it.
Got to work tomorrow. School. On the 14 after the good return by Blackwell. 1st and 10. Tom Zach gets a block from Sky. Goes it in the end zone. Tipped incomplete. Tipped by Darrell Williams on a pass intended for starting receiver Hines Ward.
And Jay Bellamy in the area as well. The ball not a clean throw. This is one of those mallard throws, as we used to call it, like a mallard duck. The ball is not a tight spiral. I don't think it's tipped. No, it's a clean throw. Just so you can see the flight of the ball is not smooth. There's the tip. Now, once that tip happens, there's no interference by Willie Williams at that point. Once the ball is tipped, there can be contact down the field.
Darrell Williams was all pro with Cincinnati, then came to Seattle as a free agent. 2nd down and 10. Oh, what penetration by Sam Adams, but it maybe have been too good to be true.
Well, Brendan Stye pulled and Sam Adams came across.
What a jump. We talked. False start on Pittsburgh. We talked to Mike Holmgren yesterday, and we talked to him last week. He says he can't believe how quick Adams is off the snap.
Watch the right guard pull. There comes Adams right there.
Wow.
Hello. At least send me a letter that you're going to do that to me. You know, yell ahead of time.
That is a big body moving very quick.
Well, and you know, not only is it a big body moving quick, low center of gravity, he's a hard guy to knock out of position because he bends at the knees. He doesn't bend from the waist.
Never been a Pro Bowler after being a first-round pick in '94 out of Texas A&M. Second down, 15 from the 20. Tomczak gets a block from Brown. Goes a pass. Intercepted incomplete by James Willis, who played for Mike Holmgren in the early '90s up in Green Bay and comes to Seattle after starting in Philadelphia the last 4 years.
He was just peeling back, watching the quarterback. His job was just to read the quarterback's eyes, looking for that kind of a pass, an underneath throw. Third down and about 15. Now, they don't have to get the first down or a touchdown on this throw, but they need to get in there where they can have a few more options on fourth down if they don't make the first down here.
Third and 15. Seattle's 20. 4 receivers platoon. There goes a flag. The boundary move quickly. There's the pass, which is caught at the 10. An acrobatic catch is made by Hawkins. Gain of 10. I think there was some movement on that defensive line of Seattle.
Well, the choice is going to be fourth down and about 5 or third down and 10.
What would you take?
I think the 2 downs, third down and 10. You don't want it coming down to one play. Actually, from the 10-yard line, you've got more field to work with. You got 20 yards there. They're going to take the penalty and keep the down.
Offside, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty remains, third down.
That's Matt Labounty, who may not even be the best athlete in his family. His wife, Kelly, finished 8th in the 1996 heptathlon in the Olympics in Atlanta. He's playing in San Francisco, Green Bay for Mike Holmgren, and now Seattle.
He just got fooled by the hard draw by the snap count. The problem was the quarterback was in the shotgun. He shouldn't be drawn by a quarterback standing about 8 or 9 yards from him.
They're down in 10 from the 15.
3-man rush.
The block by Dawson. Firing a pass, but low and uncatchable to Blackwell is Tomczak. Coverage on the play by Darrell Williams. Now it's fourth down.
And they're going to kick a field goal here. Try to get down to 23. Now this means when they score touchdowns, they've got to go for 2-point conversions.
Chris Brown will come out. He kicked the game winner last week from 36 yards away for Bill Cowher in Baltimore. This kid hasn't missed a field goal all season. And he's a rookie out of Nebraska, 7th-round pick. And if there's a concern about him, it's that his kicks get very low.
Early in training camp, they were hitting people in the back of the head.
33-yard try. It's up and in. Chris Barr came in to school him a little bit, and the lessons helped. He's perfect this year as a rookie. So the shutout is over for the Seattle defense. They lead 26-3. After the 33-yard field goal, Chris Brown has it teed up at the 30. What are you thinking? Onside kick here?
That was a chance, but they go. There they do it.
And it's recovered by Seattle at the 40. That was a legal kick, and Chris Canny comes up big again. He did last week in Chicago with 3 batted down passes of Shane Matthews.
You know, there's locker room gibberish. There's things I just do not understand. Give 110%. You can't give it 100%, can you? It's physically impossible. Play within yourself. Have you ever seen anybody play without themselves?
No.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
We're not where we want to be. Well, the game's at the stadium. Where do you want to be? You got to be here, don't you? Take it to another level. I don't know. Do you want to play up in the upper deck? I guess. And somebody's got to step it up. I have never understood what that means. Step in, step out, step up. But that's locker room gibberish. You hear it from every locker room, win or lose.
These guys just let the game come to them and be okay. First and 10, handoff goes to Ricky Waters. Swirling his way and swiveling to the 35. Tackled by Chad Scott. Waters from Harrisburg, PA.
Now, of course, the clock becomes more and more important as we get down under 12 minutes. Seattle will definitely try to work the clock down from the quarterback standpoint, under 5 seconds for each snap.
Would you keep Kitna in, or would you bring in Foley?
Well, if Kitna's foot is not bothering him, and I would make sure that you're looking him square in the eye when he tells you if it's bothering him or not, leave him in there. He's got the tempo. He's been the one taking the snaps. You wouldn't want Foley coming in there and making a crucial mistake.
Second down and 4 inside the 35. Outside, that ball batted down. Orpheus Roy may have gotten a hand on him. He was unknown coming out of Central Washington. Made the practice squad in '96, went overseas and made a name for himself in what was then called the World League of American Football. He then played behind Warren Moon and John Freese for 2 years. First 11 games of last season. Late in the year, started the last 5 games, and that was enough to sell a lot of people that he was going to be the future quarterback for the Seahawks.
I really liked him. I saw him in preseason against Cincinnati when he was a rookie, and he had all the moves. You could tell by the way he delivered the ball and the way he carried himself that he had a chance in this league.
3rd and 4 from the Steeler 35. Good block, incomplete, almost picked off. Reggie Brown gave a block, bought his quarterback time, then spun around and couldn't lasso the pass. It's incomplete. And they're going to punt it out of Peterson's range, I believe. I don't see Peterson out there to try for 3. Well, tonight on 60 Minutes, according to the man he chose to write his biography, Ronald Reagan was both an old, spaced-out man and a great president. 60 Minutes tonight on America's most watched network. First 3 and out by Seattle. The punt by Fiegels, aiming for the corner, landing at the 5, out of bounds at the 1.
Wow.
What a great punt by Jeff Fiegels. The father of 4 boys toys with Pittsburgh on that one. 34-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by GMC. Do one thing, do it well. DirecTV, what are you looking at? And by Microsoft, where do you want to go today?
Beautiful day in Pittsburgh. Seattle is whipping the Steelers 26-3 without, and this is the most amazing part of this score, without scoring an offensive touchdown today.
Special team scores, interceptions, field goals. That's all the scoring for Seattle. And the home field advantage is gone for Pittsburgh. A lot of the fans are gone too.
After the great kick by Fiegels to the 1, it's 1st and 10 for Mike Tomczak starting the second half. Here comes Logan with the blitz. The pass is away and caught. Inside, the blitz came from Logan. The catch made by Hawkins, and Logan, who took the place of Chad Brown last week, put pressure on him, but now the 2-minute offense. 10:41 to play. First down pass by Tomczak is caught at the 21-yard line. That grab by rookie Troy Edwards out of Louisiana Tech.
Well, with a little over 10 minutes to go, they've got to score 3 times. They've got to get a 2-point conversion at least twice to get back into this ball game and have a chance to win it. So they've got to go to the 2-point or the 2-minute offense.
Second down and 2. It's Bruner breaking tackles, finally hauled down after he drags the defender to the 34. Logan finally got him. A Seattle player is down at the 28. Denver coming back. Cleveland trailing by 7. The player down is James Willis. Carolina looks like they're going to get their first win over Cincinnati, 27-3. Kansas City pouring it on previously unbeaten Detroit. Injury timeout with 10 minutes to go here in Pittsburgh. Bill Cowher starting quarterback Cordell Stewart threw 3 interceptions in the first half, and that was enough to yank him to start the second.
And he's watching Mike Tomczak operate the 2-minute offense. Pittsburgh needs to be in the 2-minute, but the Seattle Seahawks does not need to be in a 2-minute defense. I expect them to come after Tomczak.
Here they come. 35, 1st and 10. Tomczak with time to throw right through the hands of the top pick, Troy Edwards. 13th selection overall in the first round. Incomplete pass.
A little bit of shoving going on down on the field after it's over with Chad Brown, who's a former Steeler, knows a lot of these guys. But he plays hard. It doesn't matter if he's playing against former teammates or not. Chad Brown does not slow down until he hears that whistle. Boy, is he a good player.
He wore a neck roll in practice, but has not worn the neck roll today. Second down and 10 from the 35. Hand off to Huntley. Got a great block from Blackwell. And he's down at the 42. Williams the tackle. Gain of 8. Friday on CBS. New York Magazine calls now and again the best thing by far of any of the network's new shows. Don't miss an all-new episode Friday on CBS America's most watched network.
Looks like CBS has won that season premiere week again. Once again becoming America's #1 watched network.
Third down pass incomplete for Hawkins. Coverage by Jay Bellamy. 9:11 to play. 9-1-1 is what Pittsburgh needs to dial right now. They are in a load of trouble.
They are, and they're going back to the huddle only when the clock is stopped. They are in the 2-minute mode, no huddle mode. Anytime that clock is running with 9:11 left, as you mentioned, the operative numbers for them. Been a tough day.
4th down and 2 from the 43. Tom Zach gets a block from Brown, goes deep, incomplete, and Seattle will take over at the Pittsburgh 43. The pass went long. The route was cut short by Edwards. It's been that kind of day for Bill Cowher and the Steelers. Seattle looks to go to 2-1.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBF. Are you ready for e-business? And by 10-10-220.
Tell you what, it's better to be out there than in here this afternoon if you're a Pittsburgh fan.
And most people are out there than in here.
Yes.
And now they had a full house when the game started.
Taking over on downs, 1st and 10. Keevan Henry penetrating where, piercing the line and brings down Ricky Waters. -3. Henry's a good one on that line.
You know, a week ago, Seattle playing in Chicago, they were trailing 13-0 at one point in that ball game, came back and won it late. Very easily could have lost the ball game. Did not play very well until the second half. They could be battling here for their first win. Instead, they're looking to go 2-1 and sitting in terrific position. They have clearly gotten better from week 1, week 2, and here this afternoon, just dominating the Pittsburgh Steelers.
2nd and 13. Seattle's offense has not scored a point. No touchdowns today. They have gotten field goals. Great block outside by Brown, unleashing Waters. And Ricky is knocked out of bounds by Earl Holmes after a gain of 11. The offense has set up 4 field goals by Todd Peterson, but they have not scored a touchdown.
Well, it really doesn't matter how you get them. If the defense and the special teams can put the points on the board, the offense has controlled the ball well enough. They've done enough in this ball game. And of course, they put Pittsburgh in. They've done a good enough job defensively to drive the starting quarterback, Cordell Stewart, out of the game.
Ricky Waters has 70 yards on the ground, 99 last week, and 21 week 1, over 8,000 for his career. Hand off to Waters, and they blow that dead. Waters becoming the 22nd NFL player to reach 8,000 yards.
False start, offense, number 87. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
87 is Derek Mays.
Even as a wide receiver, you can't flinch and simulate the start of the play. I thought they might have been calling that on Jason Gilden. He got such a great start on the defensive end of the line for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he was probably reacting to Derek Mays' quick movement. Derek Mays is really an interesting story, of course, playing for Mike Holmgren in Green Bay. They've just kind of grown up together. Mike says he doesn't compliment him much. He doesn't respond as well as when he yells at him. So he just gets yelled at all the time.
3rd and 7 from the 40. Hand off to Waters. Gigantic hole and a 1st down run by Ricky Waters. Charging up the middle, slashing his way for 11. Porter makes the tackle. Another Seattle 1st down. Seattle will be at home next Sunday night against the Oakland Raiders.
Then, of course, they get their open week. Each week, somebody with 31 teams in the league does not play. And at Seattle, Buffalo. As you look down now, if they keep getting better, they're going to be in every one of those ball games or favored in those ball games. That Western Division is going to be tight because the teams, Denver, the dominant team, is not the same Denver Broncos.
1st and 10 on the 29. It's Ricky Waters set up the middle once again. Gain of a yard on the play. Steelers will have Jacksonville here next week, and that will be a great game.
That one's going to be fun to watch because the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to be down 2 weeks in a row, and they were clearly down this afternoon. I don't know how to explain that because they didn't sound that way yesterday. Then they go on the road a couple of weeks to Buffalo and Cincinnati, and then back home against Atlanta before they get a week off.
Bill Cowher scratching his chin right there, wondering what happened, because you could clearly tell he thought he had this team ready to go yesterday.
2nd down 9. Waters dancing and then deking his way down to the 23. Chance Scott makes the tackle. And Seattle has come a long way in 3 weeks, haven't they?
Well, they have, and they've really come a long way in every part of the ball game. Last week, in all the papers in Seattle, it was special teams. Mike Holmgren giving them an ultimatum. He went to Pete Rodriguez, the special teams coach, and said, "Hey, coach, it's not you, it's not the scheme. I know they're getting the right training here. If you guys," and then he looked to the players, "don't perform this week, some of you are going to be gone." And they performed.
3rd and 4 from the 24. Waters again, a block by Brown. Ricky plowing his way near the 20. And if there is a concern for Seattle, it's that so far at least their offense has not scored a touchdown, and they had to rely on 4 field goals by Todd Peterson.
And that is the strength of Mike Holmgren. He is the offensive mind, play caller, and designer of this offense. So that part of it has a way to go, and that'll probably be what they'll be reading about in the Seattle papers this week. But you can't, you never turn down, and there are no such things as ugly wins. This one hasn't been ugly. This has been pretty. Seattle has played well. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, has not played up to their standards.
38-yard try by Peterson. You see what he has made today. He missed a 30-yarder when the spin by Fiegels had him kicking on the laces of the ball. So this one now from 38. No breeze at all inside the stadium. Peterson knocks it through. He missed a field goal here, you may recall, last year from 52 yards away, which would have tied the game. Seattle went on to lose 13-10 last season. They came in that game undefeated, and tonight on 60 Minutes, according to the man he chose to write his biography, Ronald Reagan was both an old spaced out man and a great president. 60 Minutes tonight. Then it's a powerful season premiere of Touched by an Angel, followed by the CBS Sunday night movie, A Song from the Heart, starring 5-time Grammy Award winner Amy Grant and Keith Carradine, in a dramatic story of music and love. Sounds like you and me, so yeah. Tonight on CBS.
Amy Grant, former Furman University student. I'm a Furman alum.
Where is Furman?
Furman's in Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm not kidding, one of the most beautiful campuses in the country. It's just absolutely gorgeous. About 2,400 students, all of them real bright, much like myself, much like John Kitna that you saw right there, or Keevan Henry. Although Keevan Henry right now is got a lot more on his mind, wondering what the answers are than John Kitna, who seemed to have all the answers today.
Todd Peterson has just tied a Seattle record of 5 field goals in one game, tied Norm Johnson's record of 1988. And down to a knee goes Will Blackwell. So Peterson, we mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating. He tried out for 13 teams over a 2-year span before signing with Seattle and replacing John Casey. And those are some very big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. You know, replacing a kicker is a big deal to a coach. I remember when I went to Tampa Bay, I replaced when Michael Husted became the kicker. And I had tryouts every night in training camp. I got all the team around. I had them screaming and hollering, and we had kicked 15 or 20 kicks per night until we decided who was the clutch kicker. You only get one chance. You stand around until your turn comes, and you don't get to retry it.
Well, tough for Denver. They'd become the first team defending Super Bowl champion to start a season 0-3 and a pass by Tomczak. Whistles over the head of Edwards. George Seifert gets his first win with Carolina, and Kansas City looks to go to 2-1. Donnell Bennett with the big game and a 7-yard touchdown run right there. Buffalo picking up another good game for Doug Flutie, 26-zip over Philadelphia. Andy Reid is still winless.
Wow.
Look at the Redskins.
Redskins having a little more trouble now with the New York Jets than they were earlier.
Kurt Warner, the big story in St. Louis. Rams go to 2-0. They were idle last week.
Boy, when Trent Green went down, they thought the whole season was in trouble, much like the Jets felt like that way. That was the problem with Vinny Testaverde going down.
2nd and 10, pass outside, caught by Edwards. Gain of 11 yards and good for a first down for the Steelers. And out of bounds it goes. 4:07 to play. Seattle out of timeouts. Pittsburgh has all 3.
Jay Bellamy limping off the field.
Boy, with 4 minutes to go and a commanding lead like this, you hate to see any of your starters injured, but he was just standing in the middle of the field in a back pedal and then just started to limp and hustled off the field. Nobody around him.
First down and 10 from the 31. And off to Richard Huntley as he spins and turns his way for a couple yards. Huntley is an interesting story. Steelers considered drafting him in '96. Bam Morris had the off-field problems, and Pittsburgh brought in 2 backs before the draft. One was Huntley, the other was Mike Allstott. They eventually traded for Bettis from St. Louis.
Whatever happened to Mike Allstott? He turned out all right?
Yeah, it did. Second down, 6, and 37-year-old Tomczak weaving his way upfield to the 38. Yeah, he is now the star, in case you haven't heard, for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he and Warwick Dunn showed up right after I left.
Yeah, good timing.
Is my timing. Actually, I don't think I left. I think they asked me to leave.
Third down and 3. One of the more curious decisions in football history. Here's the throw outside to Huntley. First down as he crosses midfield and into Seattle's 48-yard line, tackled by Chris Canning. They like Huntley. In fact, some people like Huntley better than Bettis here.
Well, he's a quicker guy. He's not as big. Bill Cowher told us yesterday, though, that Bettis in December, when it is cold, you don't like to get hit by. You get attacked by Jerome Bettis with his size and the way he throws his thighs into the would-be tackler. But Huntley will keep him healthy in December and also adds that quickness that Bettis doesn't have.
First and 10, Zeraway's in the game, and the rookie Zeraway makes his second career catch on a gain of about a yard. Zeraway holds every significant record rushing at West Virginia. He was a third-round pick from the Mountaineers.
A rookie getting even though the score is lopsided against you, you sometimes as a coach want to get a player like that in the ball game, get him started. Hard to get him in a tight ball game.
Second down and 8. Huntley back in from the 48. Great time for Tomczak. Chased by Riddick Parker. Throws complete to Hines Ward, the former quarterback at Georgia. Out of bounds and close to a first down and a gain of 10. He got it, in fact, across the way.
Hines Ward steps out of bounds real quick. Now watch, the quarterback's going to roll to his right to buy just a little bit more time. Good protection. Get out of the pocket. Find somebody along the sideline. You're worried about the clock. And now step on out of bounds. Make sure you have that first down, as Hines Ward does right there.
He played quarterback, running back, and wide receiver at Georgia. First and 10 from the Seattle 38.
It's a blitz.
Blitz by Logan. Tomczak spins away and throws high and incomplete for Will Blackwell. Tomczak looking pretty nimble and adroit for a guy who's 37 and has played in the NFL 15 years.
I was watching the Bill Cowher show last night, and they were talking about Tomczak wanting to get into auto racing when football ends for him, which can't be that far down the line. He's been in the game so long, but he wants to get into an ownership role with NASCAR. Looked like he was wheeling out pretty good on that one. That's a little play on words there. I threw it in for you for nothing.
That's good. Late in the game like that was sharp.
Basically, it was nothing. You better not be laughing at me again.
Second down and 10, 38-yard line. Here comes Sinclair. There goes the pass. Intercepted. Picked off by Darrell Williams, his first of the year, the 5th interception thrown by Pittsburgh quarterbacks today. 2 by Tomczak, 3 by Stewart. And the Seahawks will have that long, happy flight back to Seattle with the record of 2-1, getting ready for the Oakland Raiders next Sunday in the Kingdom. 2-minute warning, and that looks like a guy who's going to get an earful, along with him and every other Pittsburgh Steeler, from Coach Bill Cowher this week in practice.
Well, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the kind of a team with a makeup that they'll give themselves an earful, to each other and to themselves. This team is still unhappy about not having a winning record last year. They want to get back in the playoffs.
First and 10 after the Williams interception. The handoff goes to Ricky Waters, and a fumble on the play and picked up by rookie Joey Porter. That is the second turnover by Seattle today. Fumble by Kitna. And a fumble right there by Ricky Waters.
Let's see if we can. They're just going to try to strip the ball. Quick, there's the pull away.
Willie Williams looks like he's got the first grip on it, stripping the ball, comes popping loose. That's exactly what happened. Not Willie Williams. That was Travis Davis. Then picking up the fumble, of course, Jerry Porter, another rookie.
They like him.
He is. He and Scott Shields starting at free safety today for Pittsburgh. Both of them played well.
Tom Zach stays in the game. 16-yard line after the fumble by Seattle. 1st and 10. The pass to the end zone. He's got a receiver. One-handed catch. Touchdown by Troy Edwards. That is the first of his career.
Troy Edwards lined up to the right now, going up against Sean Springs one-on-one. The ball is just lofted. Throw it up high over the outside shoulder, that one-handed grab, and you see both feet inbounds. Look at that. Concentration. That's what they were looking for when they took him out of Louisiana Tech.
Beat Springs. Beat Springs like we're talking about. Extra point. He is up and in by Chris Brown. Their touchdown number 1, and my guess is that Troy Edwards will have a lot over his career. First round pick out of, as Sam said, Louisiana Tech. Coming up on the American General post-game report, Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. It's next on the American General post-game show.
You can look for an onside kick. It's the only chance Pittsburgh has. They've got to get the ball right back. They can't afford to be giving the Seattle Seahawks the ball, even though they have all 3 of their timeouts left.
Jacksonville and Tennessee just starting, as are the Colts at San Diego. Tampa Bay beating Denver. Broncos begin at 0-3, first defending Super Bowl champion to start a season 0-3. Baltimore beats Cleveland. Baltimore gets their first win of the year. George Seifert in Carolina with a win.
Big win for George Seifert. They came close last week. They did a good job. They're playing better. Kansas City not quite over there with a 10-point lead over Detroit. Detroit was getting beat soundly. They're back into it, and here comes the onside kick.
Buffalo is rolling. Kick by Brown and caught by Seattle at the Pittsburgh 38. Grabbed by linebacker Darren Smith.
Now, even though there are 3 timeouts left for Pittsburgh, they've got to score too many times. This one may be one to go ahead and accept the loss here and get ready for next week. Get ready for Jacksonville coming in.
John Kitna remains the quarterback for Seattle. His day right now, 18 of 29, 265 yards, but the Seattle offense did not score a touchdown this afternoon.
And unless somebody falls down on defense, they won't score, because they're going to just hand that ball up and try to get this game over with now.
The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Terry Eworth. The coordinating director of the NFL on CBS, Larry Cavallino. Today's game produced by Bob Dekas, directed by Dick Klein. Senior producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today is directed by Bob Matina. The associate director for today's game, I'm Goines, and our broadcast associate for today's game, Jeff St. Armand and Jen Goldschmidt. Great statistician work today by Pat McGrath. And a run by Ricky Waters, trying to atone for his fumble the last time he carried it.
Pittsburgh chooses not to call timeouts, which I think is the wise thing to do. Go ahead and get the team back in the locker room. Get them ready for next week. Nothing to be gained now by trying to show that you've got all the fight. You've got plenty of fight. You don't have to prove that. That guy right there doesn't have to prove it, Bill Cowher.
Interesting, they're running Ricky Waters this late in the game.
It is. I am sure Mike Holmgren is doing it because Ricky Waters wants to be in there and make sure there aren't any fumbles. At the same time, boy, you don't want to run the risk of an injury at this stage of it.
Fiala makes the tackle there. 99 yards for Ricky Waters. So he's close to 100. He had 6 100-yard games last season. for Seattle. But today it was the defense, a 23-yard interception touchdown return by Merton Hanks in the first series of the game, followed by a 94-yard punt return touchdown by rookie Charlie Rogers. And then field goals of 45, 51, 41, and 26 yards and 38 yards by Todd Peterson. No Seattle offensive touchdowns today. Seattle intercepting Pittsburgh quarterbacks 5 times, 3 picks by Stewart, and 2 interceptions thrown by Mike Tomczak. And Seattle will go to 2-1. And the Steelers go to 2-1. Coming up next, the American Journal postgame report for Sam Wyche. Kevin Harlan saying so long from Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. All Seattle today, 29-10.